DenverSports.com. Let's get to work.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. I was talking to a listener last week, single mom, 2 kids, working full-time, and she told me she felt like she was drowning. Prices are up, bills stacked, paycheck gone before it even hits her account. But she's a homeowner, and that changed everything because American Financing stepped in. They're helping people just like her and just like you every day. No judgment, just real solutions. They looked at her whole financial picture, not just her credit card debt. With a refinance, she learned she may delay 2 mortgage payments and she may close in as fast as 10 days. And when she heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, she finally felt hope. One manageable payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop financing her past and start funding her future. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped her make her equity her exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Off and rolling. Here on a Thursday, May 7th, on a beautiful day in Denver, Colorado. We are jam-packed with content, busting at the seams, really, and we appreciate you guys being here. What up, Will?
Woo! What up, Zach?
Good to have you back, filling in for Phillip Lindsay for the rest of the week here. We have a really fun show. Not that, just the tone and tenor of the previous conversation there in the crosstalk, not that every topic is fun, but I think it's relevant, big picture, engaging, important, all that stuff.
Absolutely. And the fact that Josh Kroenke and Ben Tenzer and Jonathan Wallace and David Adelman will meet with the media tomorrow, we're hopefully going to get answers. We'll get a lot of words into microphones. Will we get answers? We're fixing to find out, as Gary Kubiak would say.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned, let's leave Adelman aside. Well, there were still folks out there, Zach, that said, well, is he really safe? Is he really safe? The Denver Nuggets are giving David Adelman a microphone tomorrow. He is 100% safe.
Oh, yeah.
You don't give folks microphones who are not safe.
And by the way, he's going last.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to lay the groundwork for him at 11 o'clock, and then at 11:30, he's going to come on and speak. So, look, the organization right now is just not in a super healthy place. Full stop. And if you think it is, you either have no idea what you're looking at or talking about, or you are choosing to live in a fantasy land. And you have a blanket statement like, hey, we still have Joker, and with Joker, all things are possible. Well, ask Joker. Ask Joker. And so tomorrow, I'm hoping is fascinating and illuminating. I'm not going to hold my breath on that, quite frankly. I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But we'll sort of peel back some of those layers here throughout the afternoon because, again, you don't hear from the Broncos brass a lot, but it's probably 3 times a year. We've gone years, plural, without hearing from Josh Kroenke. And so we did hear from him a year ago, I think twice, I want to say. And I think prior to that was maybe 2 or 3 years before that he addressed the Tim Connolly situation. So, wow. I mean, again, we can go years without hearing from Josh.
Well, and there was a big stretch where the whole TV thing was a huge issue as well. And we didn't hear from Josh during that. So, yeah, I don't want to take it for granted. I'm not saying he's going to come out and make us all feel better, but I promise you, by the time 11:30 rolls around tomorrow, there'll definitely be 1, 2, or 3 headlines from Josh Kroenke that you're chomping at the bit to get into. There's definitely going to be a quote or two tomorrow.
Yes, you're right.
You and I will break down from 2 to 6. That'll be very curious.
I wonder if he unpromptedly will bring up trading Joker again. Do you remember how crazy that was?
That he said something like it's the doomsday scenario. We have to trade Joker.
Yeah, it was basically like he got there himself. Like he wanted to get there himself. And he's like, well, the last thing I ever want to think about, because he was talking about second aprons and this, the last thing I ever want to think about was, trading 15. It was like, wait, what? Wait, who said that, suggested that? And so it was almost in some ways, in my humble opinion, an interpretation of it, a bit of a scare tactic to what they can't do. Because if they do and it doesn't work, and then you could say goodbye to Nikola, Anyway, there's lots of layers to it. We'll get into it at the top of the hour. I definitely have some thoughts on the outlook for tomorrow, and then just some of the organic layers that exist here within this very complicated conversation right now. Very complicated when it comes to the Denver Nuggets. All right, so I said going into the last break, it's probably way too early to start looking at the most dominant runs to a Stanley Cup of all time. Sure, we do sports talk radio. We can kind of make our own rules and live in that fantasy land. So I went and pulled the best runs of all time. Okay, the 87-88 Edmonton Oilers. Wayne Gretzky. They went 16-2 on their way to a championship. Now, just so all the cards are on the table, not all of NHL history required 16 wins, right? You can go back to, the 20s where you had to win 5 games, or the 50s and 60s where you had to win 8. So some of the more modern ones, the Oilers going 16-2 in 87-88. The Montreal Canadiens in 1976, when you had to win 12 games, went 12-1. The Canadiens again the previous year in 75-76 went 12-1. The Canadiens in 93 went 16-4. All right, they actually lost their first 2 games, and they went on to finish 16-2. And they actually won 10 consecutive overtime games, which is still an NHL record.
That's insane.
Feels impossible. I went and double-checked it. It's true. The Kings in 2012, you remember this one where they were the 8th seed. They knocked off the number 1 seeded, I believe it was Vancouver at the time. That was Jonathan Quick becoming a legend. Went 10-1 on the road that year. And then you get to the Avalanche in 2022, that same 16-4 record, along with the Red Wings in 97, the Devils in 95 going 16-4. So the Avs already are amongst the all-time great runs. We've seen it. Is it possible that they can actually get to a level above that and be in the most rarefied air in the history of the NHL?
Yeah, well, the standard is the 87-88 Oilers going 16-2. So the Avalanche would have to go 16-1 or 16-0 to pass them, and I think be crowned as the greatest team in NHL history. It's a nutty statement to say, but that's kind of where we're at right now. If you go 16-1 or 16-0, you are the greatest team in the history of the NHL for my money, because not only did you win the President's Trophy after a great regular season, but you just blew through your opponents. Now, we've got a long ways to go.
Long way.
And you did a good job prefacing. We are getting ahead of ourselves, and we realize that. We're acknowledging it. But to me, that's the standard. 16-2 is the greatest playoff run in the history of the NHL. And the 2022 Avs, not all that far behind.
No.
Going 16-4. But, man, I don't know. Let's get a win Saturday night. Let's think about the sweep against the Wild if you get that win. I did tell you yesterday, and I feel the same way today, the only way this becomes a series is if they get it back to 2-2 and you're coming back to Denver all knotted up playing a best-of-3. That said, you did a great job laying out this history. I don't have to put my brain into a pretzel, to use your words.
I know.
To imagine this group going, call it 16-2, 16-1.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Forecasting it, okay? And we are getting ahead of ourselves. We understand that. We got a couple of days between games and the Avs haven't lost yet. Will the Western Conference Finals on paper, now the games are played on ice, not on paper, but on paper, will the Western Conference Finals on paper be an easier task than this round?
Absolutely. Think about it this way. They may play the Anaheim Ducks in the Western Conference Final. They came 1 point away from playing Anaheim in the first round.
Right.
They tied their series up last night with Vegas 1-1.
So I agree. On paper, this second round is a taller task than what it will be on paper in the Western Conference Finals. So if you can sweep or gentlemen sweep Minnesota, there's a really good chance you're going to sweep in the Western Conference Finals just like they did in 2022. And you could be going into the NHL, or rather the Stanley Cup Finals, maybe unblemished, maybe with one. This is why
12-0 or 12-1.
Even though I'm acknowledging we're getting ahead of ourselves, but if you actually game theory it out, the path is there for them to actually surpass what they did in 22 and maybe even be on the block of the Edmonton Oilers, who went 16-2 in 1987 and 88.
It's so much fun.
It's nuts.
They just got to keep the momentum rolling, though. Because if you punch them in the face on Saturday night, you are going to sweep them. They're going to roll over and die. If they make it 2-1, then Game 4 becomes the biggest game of the season.
All right, shifting gears, if you want to react to that, you can hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. The NFL is expected to release the schedule for 2026 some point next week, and we should prepare ourselves for just how different it'll be this season for the Broncos. That's coming up next.
Colorado Avalanche fans, take notice. Brock Nelson has earned elite recognition. Named one of just 3 finalists for the NHL Selke Trophy. Awarded to the league's top defensive forward. Night after night, Nelson delivers relentless two-way play, shutting down opponents while driving offense. And history is on the line. Wow! If he takes home the Selke, he'd become the first player in Avalanche history to win it. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey, what's up, guys? Zach here on behalf of my guys at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, talking to you men out there about intimacy. Let me just say this. It matters, all right? It matters a lot. But when erectile dysfunction gets in the way, it can be frustrating, embarrassing, even isolating, all right? The truth is, listen up. Most men don't have to live with ED anymore, guys. It's 2026, and you may be surprised by how the right treatment can improve your love life. Guys, the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, they use advanced medical science and proven therapies that go way beyond pills. Guys, I'm talking success rates well over 90%. All right, they're not new. They've served the Front Range for nearly a decade. They've successfully treated tens of thousands of men just like you. So I hate to break it to you, you're not that special. ED is actually pretty common. The initial visit, $99. That includes a medical consult, AT and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. If the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit's free. All right? So start the conversation at 720-440-7900 or simply visit them online, guys, at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsburg.com.
Be careful if you haven't filed taxes in a while. The IRS is going after non-filers like never before. Whether you have income taxes or payroll taxes that have not been filed, Advanced Tax Solutions can help you get back in the system and avoid trouble with the IRS before they show up or send you a scary letter. Call the people I trust, Advanced Tax Solutions. They'll help you get back into the system and off the IRS's radar. 303-753-6040 or visit AdvancedTaxSolutions.com.
I'm Rob Wilhite, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has been fighting for seriously injured car accident victims in Colorado. Serious accidents demand serious representation. We dig into every detail of your case, and we don't back down until we get you the maximum compensation you deserve. If you or someone you love has been seriously injured in a car accident, call the Wilhite Law Firm today at 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com. That's 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Ink card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Ink Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
8 seconds. Adrenaline unleashed. Man versus beast.
Every second counts. The most talked about event at Cheyenne Frontier Days returns. The PRCA's Extreme Bulls Tour explodes into the legendary arena for 2 nights only, July 20th and 21st, where the rankest bulls buck hard and the world's most elite cowboys ride into history. Don't miss the Extreme Bulls, only at Cheyenne Frontier Days. Tickets on sale now at cfdrodeo.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. They also offer finance plans that come with no payments for 2 years. 5280 Exteriors is a locally owned company that has been in business for 20 years and knows the Colorado climate. They are a 2024 and 2025 James Hardy President's Club winner. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
While medicine's greatest advancements look like the latest sci-fi, one of our most powerful tools is far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose by treating people, not just patients. With innovations that amplify healing and lead to more personalized care, guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal. At Common Spirit Health, clinical excellence lives here. Human kindness lives here. Learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD2, basketball playoff action continues as Cleveland faces Detroit in Game 2.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, shifting gears here. We are just a couple days away from the National Football League releasing the schedules for 2026. I cannot find an actual date. Now, maybe I'm an idiot, but I think it's just like the net is like...
Well, I've got something for you.
Next week. It's like between the, I think I read 11th and the 15th, something like that. What do you have?
Can I narrow it down for you a little bit?
Yeah.
Alex Sherman, national NFL reporter, is saying Wednesday or Thursday, the 13th or 14th.
Okay.
So maybe we can narrow our focus
when did he
just
say
a
that?
little bit.
Was that today?
Yeah, I just got the text in our group thread.
Okay.
About a half hour ago.
Because I've been looking for like 3 weeks, like every 3 days, just to double check, and I have not been able to find a date. And this morning is the last time I tried, and the target was 11th through the 15th. I'm like, how does the NFL... not have, like, they're the National Football League. How do you not have an official schedule release date yet, the week before the schedule release?
And remember what this means, too. We'll start getting single games leaked. And the Denver Broncos went to the AFC title game on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. So we may be able to piece together 4 or 5 Broncos games before we even get the full schedule, right? Like, what's their opener going to be? Couldn't you see their opener being a Sunday Night Football type thing?
Totally.
Monday Night Football?
Totally.
They're going to get a primetime game in Week 1. I'd be pretty surprised if they don't.
Oh, really? So why? So just because the AFC Championship game status?
Correct.
Okay.
And Sean Payton and Bo Nix's first game back from the ankle. I think the network executives would eat up featuring the Broncos against whoever.
Yeah.
Maybe the Chiefs.
Maybe so. Maybe so. And what are we in store for with the Kansas City Chiefs this year? After one of the biggest come-downs from a dynasty that you'll ever see. What, they win 6 games, missed the postseason, ACL for Mahomes. Like, that entire operation is, like, back under review again. But that being said, we know who the Broncos are going to play in 2026. We know that. We just and we know where they're going to play them. We just don't know the exact order yet of how this is all going to fall. So before that, I just wanted to almost preview the schedule release, if you will. And let's look at the home opponents first, Will.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Peterson filling in for Phillip Lindsay here the rest of the week. The Broncos' home opponents, we know the division, right? Chargers twice, Raiders twice, Chiefs twice. Here are the rest of the home opponents. And you talk about just a shift, man. Like, your reward for success in the NFL is a first-place schedule. These are the teams that are coming to Denver, Colorado. The Buffalo Bills, the Jacksonville Jags, the Los Angeles Rams, the Miami Dolphins, and the world champion Seattle Seahawks. Like, whoa.
4 of those 5 teams are really good. One of them is going to be terrible, and 4 of the 5 are going to be solid playoff teams with 2 of them, maybe 3 being title contenders.
That's what I was going to say. Like, would it shock you? Now, in some ways, yes, the Bills going to win a Super Bowl would be shocking. But just taking everything out of it, if you said you fast forward to the future that the Bills were playing in the Super Bowl, the Rams were playing in the Super Bowl, the Jags were playing in the Super Bowl, or the Seahawks were back playing in the Super Bowl, none of that is shocking.
No, none of it's out of left field. None of it would surprise me. The Miami Dolphins playing in the Super Bowl would, of course, knock everyone over.
Yes, and I kept them out of it.
But those 4, all 4 of those teams could hoist Lombardi next year if things break their way.
So 4 of the 5 non-divisional home games are like, strap it up.
Well, any of those could be a Sunday or Monday Night Football opener.
No question.
Now, the Bills, they'll probably want to let them open their new stadium, correct? Can we check them off the list? They're not coming to Denver for week 1.
That's a good point. They'll be home.
They're going to say, let's put them at home, show off that brand new stadium, which looks sick, by the way. Looks really cool.
It's pretty cool.
But I could totally see them saying, Rams, Broncos, Sunday Night Football, let's go. Now, the Seahawks won't come here either because they're world champions, so they'll get to open at home as well.
And that'll be Thursday Night Football, right?
Correct. It might have gotten bumped to Wednesday because there's that weird Australia game going on.
Yeah, you're jogging my memory there.
But could you see Jacksonville here? Yeah, they played a great game. They were the only team that came into Denver and won other than the Patriots in the playoffs.
And that wasn't close.
No, that was a beatdown.
That was a beatdown.
And the Rams? Oh, baby, that'd be a lot of fun to have L.A. here for an opener.
I think they'd be my pick to come out of the NFC and play in the Super Bowl right now. Between them and Seattle, and they're both coming to Denver. So it is no joke. What's the toughest well, actually, let's start in the division. What is the toughest divisional game right now as we head into 2026?
It's the Chiefs. They're going to be back this year. They're definitely going to be back.
I'm not so sure, man.
I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing, but they're not going to win 6 games. Like, you're going to be fighting with the Chiefs for the AFC West into week 15, 16, 17, 18. That's my gut.
I'm going with the Chargers for right now.
What have the Chargers ever proved ever?
Yeah, I'm probably falling into that same trap, but I'm going with the Chargers for right now.
Exactly.
Jim Harbaugh in year number, what is this now? Going into year 3, I believe.
But you're drinking Chargers Kool-Aid in May. You're not alone on that.
This is when you drink it, though.
Exactly.
Among the non-divisional home games between the Bills, the Jags, the Rams, and the Seahawks, I'll leave the Dolphins out. Between those 4 teams, Bills, Jags, Rams, Seahawks, what is the toughest home game, non-divisional home game on the schedule?
I think it's the Bills. I think the Seahawks are going to take a baby step back. I think they overachieved. They lost Kenneth Walker, who was such a monster. I think the Rams are very, very good, but Stafford's getting a year older. You just took a quarterback in the first round, and Puka Nacua has not had a good offseason at all. See if he gets right. And the Bills are going to be hungrier than ever, and I know we say that every year, but I'd go Buffalo 1 on that list. I'm not dismissing Jacksonville, L.A., or Seattle. I think Jacksonville's still a year or 2 away. I think Seattle's logically going to take a step back. I think the Rams have a handful of things they need to figure out. I think it's Buffalo. How about you?
Man, definitely not Buffalo. I'll go with
Why?
They're I don't even know what they're getting out of their new head coach. You know, I just don't know. That entire operation
But
feels...
didn't everyone want McDermott fired forever and ever and ever and finally got their wish?
Well, it's a first-time guy. You know, I just don't know what I'm getting. And I'm very, very down on Buffalo. I'll go with an operation that I think is definitively ascending. I'll go with Jacksonville.
As the toughest home game.
Yes. The last time they were here, they beat the brakes off the Broncos, unlike any opponent that came to Denver all year. I think that they absolutely, I think they played Buffalo in that first round, I want to say.
Oh, they did, and they lost.
And should have won, could have won. So I'll go Jacksonville coming in here. I'll just bet on that operation. Secondarily would be Seattle. And then followed by the Rams. No, oh man.
Doesn't Seattle have 9-8, 10-7 written all over them?
I don't think so. That new administration that they have over there, man, they are buttoned up. I trust that operation. I'm going to go Seattle number 1. Excuse me. I'm going to go Seattle number 1, Jacksonville number 2, Los Angeles Rams number 3, Buffalo Bills number 4.
Wow. Our list could not be more different.
No, it couldn't. Now, what does that first place schedule look like when the Broncos go on the road? That's coming up next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
In 1949, my dad started Permagreen right here in Colorado, and we've enjoyed the reputation of having great, high-quality, 100% organic landscape products blended for this region. You've seen Permagreen at your garden center, but did you know we also supply the professional landscapers? Oftentimes, landscape architects need more complex organic blends targeted for specific needs. Lighter weight, better drainage, better water holding capacity, and on and on. For these specific needs, they come to Permagreen. Over the years, we've created many blends for the pros, and now they're available to you. Now you can tackle all your gardening projects just like a pro. Our new Permagreen Pro lineup includes Pro Topsoil Blend, Pro Raised Bed Garden Soil, Pro Mushroom Compost, Pro Tree and Shrub Planters Mix, and Pro Sheep and Peat. Use these products with absolute confidence for your next project. Do it like a pro. Buy local. Buy Permagreen Pro Soil Amendments, and remember, you don't need a miracle, you need Permagreen.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
Here's something most window companies won't tell you. The window is only part of it. In Colorado, a well-built window can still fail if the installation isn't right. That's the part that determines what actually lasts. I trust Gravina's Window Center of Littleton because that's where the conversation starts. 50-plus years serving Denver, Colorado, and the Front Range. Right now, 25% off Infinity by Marvin Windows. Check them out at windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So what makes Champ Honda different? It's simple. One price, one person, 1 hour, meaning clear, upfront, and fair pricing. There are no games, no guesswork, and you work with a single client advisor from start to finish. No runaround, there's no back and forth, and 1 hour so you can spend less time at the dealership and more time doing what you love. Plus, at Champ Honda, they never charge dealer handling fees. None. It's a better way to buy a car, and once you experience it, you'll wonder why every dealership doesn't do it this way.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, taking a peek at the Denver Broncos opponents, just to sort of get a lay of the land, if you will, before the schedule comes out next week, sort of like a primer, if you will. And we don't know when the schedule is exactly coming out, which I think is confusing for a, $100 billion business like the NFL. Thought that would be like ironclad in stone. Hey, it's coming out Wednesday, 7 o'clock, NFL Network, ESPN, whatever. We don't know yet. Maybe by Monday we will. But so we're just looking at some of the home opponents. And the gift that the NFL gives you when you are good and you finish in first place in your division, your prize is a first-place schedule the following year. And it's been a very long time since the Denver Broncos were looking at a first-place schedule. And it is interesting how it can change the entire complexion of a season. Now, these teams do change year to year. We know that. I mean, you're not playing the 2025 opponent. But in general, a lot of these operations who are good, they stay good. Some of them that stay bad, stay bad. And obviously there's variance in between there. We just talked about the non-divisional home games being the Buffalo Bills, the Jacksonville Jags, the Los Angeles Rams, the Miami Dolphins, and the Seattle Seahawks. 4 of those top 5 I'd be willing to bet are in the top 10 of Super Bowl odds, for sure, being the Bills, Jags, Rams, and Seahawks. And then when you look at the opponents that the Broncos will travel to, obviously you're going to Arrowhead, you're going to Allegiant in Vegas, and you're going to SoFi in L.A. Beyond that, you're going to the Arizona Cardinals, all right, who are obviously not a very good football team, we think, right? We think. Just don't,
I think we kind of know. The Cardinals are in the March for Arch. That's a 3-win football team.
Well,
who's their quarterback, Zach?
Jacoby Brissett.
It's a 3-win football team.
Well, I remember a conversation with one Will Peterson a year ago where you guaranteed victory for the Broncos in week number 2, called it an automatic win, and the Broncos went and lost to the Indianapolis Colts with Daniel Jones, a guy you also called a bum.
And how did the Colts finish? They missed the playoffs.
But they beat the Broncos.
But I think I was onto something that the Colts were not very good.
You're probably right about the Cardinals. But past the Cardinals, it is the Carolina Panthers.
Sneaky good.
Improved a year ago.
Made the playoffs.
Bryce Young looked competent, really. I'll just keep it there. And then beyond the Cardinals and the Panthers, the Denver Broncos are traveling to Foxborough, Massachusetts for a rematch of the AFC Championship game with the New England Patriots, Will.
Fascinating. Really interesting. Obviously would have loved to play them with Bo Nix, and New England has had a drama-filled offseason with their head coach.
Right.
And will he still be their head coach?
I don't know about that.
I don't either. I think if I'd asked you that 2 weeks ago, you said, of course. Of course he's still their head coach. Every single day feels like it trends more and more towards, is Mike Vrabel going to keep his job?
Yeah. So that's a fascinating one. That could be on national TV right out of the gate, quite frankly.
Could be week 1.
It could be week one. Beyond the Patriots, it's the New York Jets.
They got to go to MetLife. I hate going to MetLife, Zach. They were so glad last year when they got to play the Jets in London because they didn't have to deal with the MetLife turf. That thing's got a bad reputation around the NFL.
Controversial.
And they're putting in grass for the World Cup, if I understand.
Is that right?
I believe the final is in MetLife, and they're putting in grass.
I did not know that.
And it's a big deal because the NFL players are like, whoa, Messi gets to play on grass, but we don't? So something to monitor. They're going to have to go to MetLife this year. And, of course, MetLife is the site of my
48, right?
My least favorite game I've ever been to as a Broncos fan, Super Bowl 48.
God, Dante, go ahead. Say what you just said there.
I would say it's also the home of the 9-6 rainstorm where they could get nothing going. I think both teams missed field goals.
They did.
Bo Nix's first touchdown pass
to Cortland Sutton. I think that was week 4.
It was the Greenbrier week. Remember, they went to Tampa.
Yeah.
And then Sean got to take
So
them
it
to
was
West
week 3.
Virginia.
It was week 3 then.
No, it was week 4 because it was 2 home games. Tampa week 3. Bo
because they were
finally
0-2. They were 0-2 going to Tampa. Upset Tampa as a touchdown favorite.
Yep.
And then went to the New York Jets. And that was actually noteworthy because Bo Nix waiting till week 4 to throw his first touchdown was actually history. Like, we had not seen a quarterback through the first 3 weeks of the year have no touchdown passes. It was like decades.
And I believe it was shot putting the ball. Remember that?
Hard to forget.
And I believe it was 10-9 because he had the touchdown at Cortland. And you're right, Nick Folk had that kick that kind of danced through the rain and it went wide right, and the Broncos came back home 2-2. And what famously happened in West Virginia that week where the Broncos had to practice.
Didn't they practice on tennis courts?
They had to practice on tennis courts because it was raining so hard in West Virginia.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're just looking ahead to the Broncos' opponents as we're about a week out from the schedule being released when we'll get the exact order. We know who the team is playing, and we know where they're going to play them. So the away opponents beyond the division, the Arizona Cardinals, the Carolina Panthers, the New England Patriots, the New York Jets, which by the way, like, there's a scenario Russell Wilson is playing for the Jets. Like, and we thought we were going to get this early couple seasons ago, right? When he was in a battle with Justin Fields, was the starter, or no, he hurt his calf, I think, late in the summer, and Fields had to play. We thought we were getting the, sort of box office Russell against the team that just kicked him out. There's a scenario where that we get that just later than we expected. And then beyond the Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it could be Aaron Rodgers. Again, it looks like it's going to be. There was speculation that, hey, could Bo not be ready? Could Rodgers be coming to Denver? That's not going to happen. So it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the last road opponent that we haven't mentioned for the Denver Broncos in 2026, the San Francisco 49ers in Levi.
Yeah, and you wanted to go to Levi Stadium this last year. And if Bo Nix hadn't broken his ankle, you would have, and you would have played the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl in that stadium. And, of course, that's a great stadium. You won Super Bowl 50 there. Tons of memories. There was some chatter about that potentially being Mexico City.
That's right.
I believe that's now off the table. The thinking on that was Mexico City's very high altitude, and the Niners did not want to play a team from Denver at high altitude. The other thing about this, you going through these, you know what I'm noticing? Last year, 9 home games, 8 road games.
Right.
This year,
Right.
8 home games, 9 road games.
That's right.
It flips on you this season.
All right, I'll ask you in a minute here who the toughest road opponent is, but before we do that, tomorrow will be a fascinating day as the Nuggets brass and head coach will have an end-of-the-season press conference. What do you think we're in store for tomorrow as well as this offseason? I do have one major prediction. That's all coming up next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Edelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive comprehensive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. Nobody likes talking about this, but if you're a guy over 50 dealing with enlarged prostate, you need to know about PAE, prostate artery embolization. It's minimally invasive, done through a tiny pinhole, and you're back home the same day. Colorado Advanced Endovascular in Lakewood makes it easy. Top-tier interventional radiologist, a comfortable boutique atmosphere, and the kind of personalized care that's hard to come by. They serve the whole metro area. Go to coloradoae.com. That's coloradoae.com.
I'm Rob Wilhite, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has stood beside Colorado families after serious car accidents. With over $1 billion won, we know how to fight for you. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit willhitewins.com. That's willhitewins.com.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in? Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast to protect your property and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Hey, it's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by the Colorado Lottery. Play on.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD2, basketball playoff action continues as Cleveland faces Detroit in Game 2.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Leading off with the big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
1 hour in the books. Quicker than a New York minute. Hanging out with you here on a Thursday as we barrel our way through the work week. and that first hour did fly by. We opened up with the Avalanche. Really, we were talking Nugs in the crosstalk, then opened up our first dedicated segment with the Colorado Avalanche and looking at some historic cup runs in NHL history. Could the Avs work their way to near the top of that list, at the top of that list? We'll circle back a little bit later in the show if you missed that segment. And then we circle to Broncos' schedule, as the schedule release is coming out next week, but we looked at the opponents, home and away. Real quick, let's put a ball in that conversation before we sequence into what should be a fascinating day that awaits us tomorrow, as the Denver Nuggets brass will speak for the first time in a year. What is the hardest Denver Broncos non-divisional road opponent? The candidates are the Arizona Cardinals, the Carolina Panthers, the New England Patriots, the New York Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the San Francisco 49ers. And if that sounds like a lot in addition to the division, you made a good point at the end of that segment. The Broncos have 9 road games this year, not 8, as it rotates every other year with this 17-game schedule. So not only is it a first-place schedule for the first time in a decade, you also have that one less home game as well.
Yeah, definitely. The only good news on that is 3 of those 9 games will be half orange. The game in Allegiant Stadium will be half orange. The game in SoFi will be half orange. And the game in the desert against a very poor Arizona Cardinals team will be half orange as well. So 3 of those 9 will feel like Broncos home games. Obviously, going to Arrowhead's always a task. That's not in this conversation, though. It's non-division. I'm just going to take the low-hanging fruit, despite all their drama, despite getting their tails kicked in the Super Bowl, despite questions about Drake May in the postseason. He was great in the regular season. It's the New England Patriots, Zach. Sure, I'm considering the 49ers, but I think that window may have shut. To me, the toughest non-division road opponent for the Broncos this year is going to Foxborough and facing the Pats in an AFC title game rematch.
Yeah, it's a rabid environment as well, and it's hard to not say, the team that just played in the Super Bowl. You want to give them that respect, despite some of the path was kind of grooved, if you will, in more ways than one, the schedule throughout the season, but also what happened to the starting quarterback of the Broncos there with the season on the line. That's probably the right answer. That along with San Francisco. But just out of respect, I think you got to go Patriots. The Cardinals are going to be a little bit more scrappy than you think. Because think about it, you have a veteran quarterback now, right? And this is just I'm not telling you they're going to the playoffs or anything like that, but I think they're going to be scrappier than you think. Jacoby Brissett is a steady hand at the position. They drafted Jeremiah Love, so they have a really good running back. They have Marvin Harrison Jr., which he's pretty good, right?
He's underachieved to start his NFL career.
Pretty good.
He's got a good name.
Pretty good. Is he a pretty good player?
Fine. He's a fine player.
All right. Michael Wilson at the wide receiver position, 1,000-yard guy a year ago.
Well, your boy Riley Moss will lock him down.
In fact, my boy, listen to you. Agenda setting. I love it. Michael Wilson and Trey McBride, the only wide receiver tight end combination to each go for 1,000 yards in the NFL.
Now, McBride scares me.
He's a beast.
He's the best tight end in the NFL for my money.
I agree. So there's some stuff forming there. And it's going to be on the road. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, I think I would pick the Broncos to win, but I'm just,
And you like that there'll be a lot of Broncos fans there, right?
Oh, yeah.
That has road trip written all over it, or quick little flight to Phoenix. I think fans will travel very well to that game.
All right. If you want to react to that, you can on the YouTube chat presented by Shop Honda. It is there if you would like. All right. So tomorrow is going to be a fascinating day, as the Denver Nuggets brass and head coach will have an end-of-the-season press conference. Here's who's talking. It's Josh Kroenke. He's going to go first, I believe. And then it's going to be Ben Tenzer and John Wallace, sort of co-GM. I know they have individual titles, but it's basically a partnership. Very unusual and unorthodox. Those are Josh Kroenke's words from a year ago. Unorthodox. They're at the top of the organization, or near the top anyway. And then you're going to hear from Adelman after those guys speak. Is there something you want to hear, Will, specifically from any of those principals?
Yeah, definitely it's Josh Kroenke. Why did you retain David Adelman? Because I don't think Tenzer and Wallace had the authority to fire Adelman.
Definitely not.
And I'm not trying to undermine their credibility, but I think they're there to build the roster. They are not there to fire and hire the head coach. That reaches the level of ownership, and therefore Josh has a microphone, and I would say to Josh, how can you justify running it back with David Adelman when he got booed during introductions of Game 5, and you went 2-4 in the 6 biggest games of the season. Your goal was to win 16 playoff games.
They didn't come close.
You won 2. You won 2 of the 16 to get us to a parade. So we can talk all we want about regular season success, and that was great, and navigating the injuries. I'm sorry. In the Nikola Jokic era, we are spoiled. November through March, yeah, I'll watch. I'm interested. I'm consuming it. I'm a Nuggets fan. All anyone cares about right now is April, May, and June. They didn't even get to May. Why does David Adelman deserve another shot when he won 2 games in the tournament? And your goal was so much loftier than that.
Well, yes, very fair question. You're probably going to get some version of, well, we retained David Adelman. It was his first year on the job, and the team went out and won 53 games. I don't think you guys realize it's really hard to finish as a top 3 team in a crowded Western Conference. Under David Adelman's tutelage, the team went out and won the most road games in the history of the franchise, and we understand that we fell short in the playoffs. Unfortunately, so much of what we do is dependent on someone like Aaron Gordon or Peyton Watson, so we want to see what this looks like with our full complement of guys before we made any harsh decisions. Next question.
That was pretty good.
It's going to be some version of that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Although you shorted Adelman 1. He did win 54 this year.
54.
But I think it's fair. And I do think the fan base is ticked, right? Like, I think you
should be.
Frame the question not from the lens of the media, from the lens of the fans.
Sure.
I mean, this guy got booed. I've watched the video a dozen times.
I was there.
It wasn't 2 people that booed him.
Correct.
You were there. How many was it?
I said the day after about 30%.
So that would be about 6,000 people booed this guy?
Yeah.
Before a winner-go-home playoff game? Now, they won that one, but then they crapped the bed in Game 6.
Yeah.
Josh Kroenke, I understand he's a billionaire, and I understand he lives a different lifestyle than you or I can even wrap our minds around. He's still a human being.
Sure.
He still has to hear the noise, I would think, of how frustrated Nuggets Nation is that David Adelman didn't even really feel like they stewed on it for all that long. I mean, they lost on, a Thursday night? And by Sunday, Shams Charania was going on ABC's pregame show saying David Adelman's safe. I mean, you had the top NBA insider within 72 hours saying, yeah, he's safe. Josh has got to know that made the fan base really ticked off. I mean, to the point where people saying, I was going to buy a 10-game plan next year. Now I'm not going to. Now, are they still going to sell out most nights? Of course they are. They're the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic.
Oh, yeah.
But there's an anger from the Nuggets fan base I haven't sensed in a while. We were all really disappointed when they didn't go back-to-back and really upset that they blew a 20-point lead, but I don't think anyone was calling for Michael Malone's job at that point in time. Well, maybe James. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of people doing that. And then against the Thunder, no one was really that upset about Game 7. It stung, but we were more annoyed about Games 4 and 5, the ones they let slip away.
Sure.
This year, it was like riot in the streets type anger. People were pissed, and they still are, and they have every right to be, especially because the guy won 2 playoff games, and he gets to coach the team next year.
Yeah, I think this fan base is, and I'm not speaking for everyone because each I know there's certain fans who want to see the entire operation ran back, right? And that's okay. I'm never going to tell a fan how to fan. That being said, in the context that I have, this is my 10th Denver Nuggets season, it is the most frustrated I have seen this fan base. It is. Because really, if you take a look at the last decade, for the first half of the last decade, it was an ascension. It was a build. The Nuggets were progressively getting better every single year, and the vision was like coming into focus. And then when you win the championship, it's like, oh my gosh, it's pay dirt. It's the biggest payoff of all time. And then the next year, it's you lost in 7, but it was like freaky, and you could kind of like explain it away, and they were so tired, and like the lack of depth, and it kind of revealed itself. But yeah, you were in the afterglow of the championship, and at the time, the general manager said, "We're not obsessed with going back to back." So in some ways, it was like, well, we're still on the Spurs plan. We're still going to try to win 4 and 8, and or whatever Calvin Booth said to Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer those years ago. So even with the stunted nature of the trying to go back-to-back, even though it didn't happen, you were like still forecasting. And then you lose in a Game 7 to Oklahoma City by 35 points. But there was still things to hold on to. Now, I started to really be critical of the fading culture of the Denver Nuggets last season, starting with Media Day on. But you could still, again, there was context. Well, what if Aaron Gordon never got hurt? Aaron Gordon was hitting game-winning shots against the Thunder and the Clippers, and he's a shell of himself. And, it's you could still kind of explain it away. But then when you get 3 years removed from the championship, and it's not happening in the second round, it's happening in the first round, and it's happening in 6 games, it was like you're not even pushing a Game 7 in the first round, and they're missing 3 of their top 5-6 guys. So there's nowhere to turn here from really something like this big pitch other than, hey, we still have Jokic and all things are possible. If you understand the nuance of where this organization's at, the lack of assets that they currently have, it's bleak for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I definitely think you could make a case after you lost to Minnesota the first time, the glass was still half full. Even after you lost to the Thunder, the glass may have still been half full. This year, there's no one calling the glass half full. That thing's half empty. It just is. There's no positives from this Nuggets season. None. Because even the whole, Jamal finally made an all-star team. He undid all of that with what he performed like in Game 6. I mean, you needed him to play against guys who would not have been on the floor other than injury necessity, and he got punked by Terrence Shannon Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a hoop head, Zach. You know who Terrence Shannon Jr. is.
I do.
90% of your audience did not know who that guy was until he tore the Nuggets up, partially in Game 5 and then very much so in Game 6.
Yeah, and even beyond that, there was there's someone like Jalen Clark coming off the bench and putting shackles on Jamal Murray.
Who?
It's exactly, to a lot of people, it's wait, what? This 24-year-old second-round pick, is doing, what? It was just, and that's the stuff with Jamal, and I want to get into a big theme here and a prediction of this offseason in just a second. But actually, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on the Jamal stuff because we're going to get there organically. So one of the things that I think that we need to be really hyper aware of is going to be the Denver Nuggets efforts. And I'm just warning you guys, this is going to happen, okay? The Nuggets efforts to get out of some taxes from the NBA, all right? And I think that if you look to the trade deadline and watched how the Denver Nuggets operated at the deadline, it could be a peek to what to expect here this offseason, as oftentimes the past is the best predictor of the future. So how did they operate at the trade deadline? You were in a championship window. We thought, a lot of us, that it was potentially the best team on paper. But at the trade deadline, Aaron Gordon was already hurt, and so was Payton Watson. So there was an opportunity to add some depth and make some moves at the deadline. But what would have had to happen is you would have paid a tax on it. You would have been further into the tax, okay? So what did the Denver Nuggets do? They traded Hunter Tyson, okay, and a second-round pick. They shipped him out of town. They got back another late second and a pick swap, doesn't matter. And they opened up a roster spot. What'd they do with that roster spot? They made Spencer Jones a full-time player. But they had a choice there with Spencer Jones. They had a choice. We can sign this guy that we identified as an undrafted player who's a real player for us, and it started 36 games for the Nuggets this year. Can hit threes, play defense, big body, kind of like what you're looking for, both with him and moving forward. But what did they do? They opened up that roster spot, and they signed him for the rest of the year, and they turned down the option to sign him for a cost-controlled, multi-year contract to keep him in the fold for a handful of years, because why? They did not want to pay the tax. So, as a result, Spencer Jones is a restricted free agent, not under contract here moving forward. So, here's what we need to know. And this is a little bit, sometimes kind of boring, if you will. Okay? But it needs to be discussed because I'm telling you guys, you need to know this as we head into the Denver Nuggets offseason. The Nuggets have paid the luxury tax. They paid it in 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. But the real thing that matters here, Will, is the NBA's repeater tax. All right? As it stands, just 10 players are under contract heading into next season. The Nuggets are staring at a real repeater tax penalty. So right now, Will, they're just $12.7 million over the luxury tax line. You know what their luxury tax bill would be, just as currently constructed, being 12, 13 million bucks over the luxury tax line. Right now, they would be asked to pay a luxury tax bill because of the repeater tax of $41 million. And again, I'm saying repeater tax because that's the name of it. But when you pay the tax over and over, they penalize you every passing year that you are beyond it. So right now, they would have a luxury tax bill of $41 million. That's without a Payton Watson deal. That's without their draft pick. And that's without filling out their roster. All right? So if you give Payton Watson the $20 million per year that he's expected to get, and then you're drafting the 26th overall pick this year, because the NBA doesn't let you trade first-round picks in back-to-back years, so they're going to draft another player here. And they can sign 3 minimum contracts. That would fill out their roster. They would be roughly $40 million over the tax line and into the second apron. That would push them into what is, not to bore you, but the 7th level of luxury tax payment bracket, okay?
You're not boring me. You're educating me. This is good stuff.
So that would make a roster, if you signed Payton Watson to the deal that everyone wants them to sign to, your first-round draft pick and 3 minimum contracts, you have a payroll of $240 million. Denver would be on the hook. Listen closely, y'all. If that happens the way that a lot of Nuggets fans want it to happen, where you're not trading Jamal, you're not trading Aaron Gordon, Jokic is obvious here, you're signing Payton Watson. You know what the tax bill? You know what the tax bill would be for the Denver Nuggets ownership group? $207 million in luxury tax penalties. I can just help everyone out. There is 0.000% chance that they're going to agree to that, the way that the Warriors did when they wanted to keep that group together and win a championship. It's not going to happen. So what do? If the Nuggets are going to free up cap space and reduce that bill, which they're going to do, they have to do one of 3 things. You have to trade Jamal Murray, you have to trade Aaron Gordon, or you have to trade Cam Johnson. The problem is, and I know you know this, but if you trade Aaron Gordon, you're not going to get much in return. So the point of moving these guys is to try to improve the team. But you will not improve the team by trading Aaron Gordon because you're going to get cents on the dollar. These teams will look and say, he played 36 games this year and played 1 healthy playoff game. No, thank you. But you also don't have assets to attach to these guys anymore to get their contracts off the books. I know I'm doing a lot of talking here, but it's important because that same logic applies to Cam Johnson. You're not going to get a lot. I'll continue to use this phrase. There is one lever the team can pull right now to get a meaningful return to try to reshape this roster around Nikola Jokic, and it's Jamal Murray. This is not an anti-Jamal Murray conversation. Jamal Murray is a Denver sports legend. We established that yesterday. Jamal Murray has had the best season of his career. It's not an insult. It's actually kind of like you're the one guy that you can get a real return in, and it's been 11 years, and they won a championship, but you're no longer standing in the shadow of it. The two-man game is as ineffective as we have ever seen it, and he played his worst in the most important game for a second year in a row. This is why when I said earlier in the week and the promos running like they're going to trade Jamal Murray, and they will, this is why when you talk it out and lay everything on the table, there's a reason. This is the foundation behind what I said. Once you really exhaust the conversation and game theory it out, it leads to one thing.
Well, first of all, bravo and well done, because you just laid that out about as well as anyone can. Because people hear luxury taxes and aprons and all that, and they go, I don't understand it. Whatever. You did a really good job of explaining
and it's complicated.
But you did in the last 6-7 minutes. Kudos to you. You laid it out nicely of why they do have to make a big trade. And also why that big trade probably has to be Jamal Murray, because you're not going to get adequate value for Cam Johnson and or Aaron Gordon. It's just not going to happen. That said, too, when you say if they basically run it back, they're on the hook for $207 million.
Never going to happen.
And luxury tax penalties. I'm guilty of they're billionaires. It's more money they can spend in a lifetime, the next lifetime, the lifetime after that. Even I say $207 million. That's an obscene amount of money for even a billionaire. You know, I always say, well, why can't you pay Steve Kerr or Tom Thibodeau or Billy Donovan $8 to $10 million? You know, it's like $20 to you and I, the equivalent for Josh and Stan Kroenke. $207 million is, even if you have billions,
it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's a ridiculous amount of money.
It is.
It's an absurd amount of money for them to pay. And I rarely defend Nuggets ownership. I will defend Nuggets ownership in this occasion. I wouldn't blame them at all for not wanting to eat a luxury tax bill north of $200 million.
And here's the thing, Will. If you're Josh Kroenke and you're going up into that microphone tomorrow, it's like, well, we might consider it if we just lost in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals to keep this group together. You want me to pay a tax bill of $207 million to keep a group together that couldn't get out of the first round? Guys, it's not going to happen. So people, fans, media, we need to adjust our thinking and catch up to the real conversations. And is it a bit curriculum? Yes. Is it built for sports talk radio? Probably not. But if you want to look at this situation with sober eyes and understand like the decisions that are going to have to be made, and because a lot of Nuggets fans, if they trade Jamal Murray, and I think they're going to, but if they trade him here in a month, there's going to be a lot of fans. I'm never rooting for the Nuggets again. He's my favorite player of all time. You just broke up the best thing you ever had. And in some ways, a version of that is true. But for here and now, moving forward and projecting forward, if you game theory it out and you understand how the rules work and the penalties involved with repeater taxes and aprons, like it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep this group together. That's the harsh reality. And it just is. Sometimes things just are. Like no one did anything criminally wrong here. Like sometimes things just are. And this is one of those situations where this iteration of the Denver Nuggets, it's over. It's over. So now what? You have to reimagine this group around Nikola Jokic in a way that is going to be painful for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's going to be jarring to see what they look like in Game 1 next year, because it's going to be guys that, yeah, if you trade Jamal Murray, you're, of course, getting household names back. You know, you're not going to trade Jamal Murray for guys that casual NBA fans have never heard of. You will know who these players are, but they won't be guys who won a championship for your city. They won't be guys who I watched on a fire truck get stopped at a corner, and Jamal Murray literally almost got buried in laundry. So many jerseys were thrown up to him, people wanting signatures and autographs and stuff like that. I remember, and it was tragic what happened, but I remember it led to Jamal and Nikola in a SWAT truck to get to the stage from the parade to go up there and celebrate with their teammates. Like, whoever it is, they won't have that. They will have never done that for this city.
That's right.
But then again, it's not going to be peanuts, right? It might be peanuts if you have to trade Cam Johnson. Might be peanuts if you have to trade Aaron Gordon. Christian Brown, you'd take a bucket of basketballs to get off that contract.
Yeah.
But if you trade Jamal, at least the guys you're getting back, even if you just follow the NBA on the surface level, you will know who they are. And what's the great thing about Nikola Jokic? He elevates whoever he plays with. Why do guys want to come to Denver? And I understand it's not, superstars lining up to sign as free agents, but guys have said, when I got to Denver, I got better because I got to play with Nikola.
Yep.
So you have to remember, whoever comes in gets that Jokic boost, that Jokic bump, and their stats last year, they will improve because everyone improves when they get to play basketball with Nikola Jokic.
I'm going to share one anecdote before we go, and we do have to go. A lot of people love Jamal Murray. You want to know who's one of them? My 7-year-old son. He has watched Jamal Murray every year of his life. Since he was a baby, that TV's been on. He's been watching Jamal Murray. He's playing baseball now for the first time, and a real team, not like a I-9 introductory. And they said, what number do you want to be? 27.
For Jamal.
I said, but it's baseball. Are you sure? Like, do you want to look at it? No, I want 27, like Jamal. And it's going to sting. It's going to sting for a lot of kids like my boy. So I'm a part of a household that's going to go through this if this does happen, but it is something that needs to happen.
And you're going to be the one that has to break the news to your son. Right?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
You're going to be the one that has to break the news to your son.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
and he may cry.
He doesn't have Twitter.
No.
He's not going to know.
No.
You're going to go home and have to sit him down and say, hey, get some bad news. The Nuggets trade Jamal Murray today, and that's not going to be a fun conversation.
No, and my guess is he'll probably cry. Dante, real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Will was talking about whoever they bring in for Jamal Murray was not a champion, who was not a guy that's won here in Denver.
Not a Nuggets champion.
Yeah, not a Nuggets champion. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant. I just want to remind you guys that Aaron Gordon was once that outsider that they brought in here, and now he is that fan favorite. And I think that sometimes if you bring in a guy that is long and athletic like that, and you're talking about the Jokic bump, they're going to look even better next to Jokic, and they're going to hide his deficiencies. So I think sometimes we overrate who's around Jokic by name, and maybe sometimes you just need a guy like Aaron Gordon that's going to do everything right and be athletic and bring that to the table.
Yeah. All right, a lot of information. I know. It's like it's a lot. It's a lot. And if you missed it and you only caught part of it, we'll do it again at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, but it's part and parcel a compass for decision-making that the Nuggets face here. Okay, shifting gears. Were you rooting for Michael Porter Jr. in Brooklyn? You may rethink that after you hear how he was watching your Nuggets. That's next.
The Colorado Avalanche put on a clinic, controlling every inch of the ice from start to finish. Speed, precision, relentless pressure define their game as they powered past the Wild with authority. 5 goals, terrific goaltending, and a defense that refused to bend. That was dominance in every sense. The Avalanche skate away with a decisive 5-2 victory, and just like that, they seize a commanding 2-0 series lead. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. Rising energy prices, fragile supply chains, even threats of food shortages. It's no surprise that millions of American families are starting to take preparedness seriously. That's why My Patriot Supply created Family Preparedness Starter Packs. 1 full week of food for everyone in your family. Plus water filtration, cooking tools, and backup power. All for as little as $100 per person. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com to get prepared today. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Folks,
of surprises, underdogs, overtime thrillers, sudden upsets. But when it comes to your facility's electrical systems, you don't want surprises. For over 40 years, Piper Electric has powered complex commercial and industrial projects, from large-scale distribution to fire alarms and preventative maintenance. Their licensed electricians help reduce downtime, control cost, and keep operations running smoothly. Got a project coming up? Don't leave it to chance. Include Piper Electric in your bid process. Visit piperelectric.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I got an email from a guy named Mark, retired firefighter, tough guy. Never asked for help in his life, but he told me the rising cost of everything finally caught up to him. Groceries, insurance, prescriptions. It was all hitting at once. And he said, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm falling behind. I told him there's nothing to be embarrassed about because American Financing hears stories like this every day. They walked him through a refinance, looked at his whole financial picture, not just his credit card debt that had piled up. With a refinance, he learned he may delay 2 mortgage payments and may close close in as fast as 10 days. Then he heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, and he said it felt like someone finally opened a window in a stuffy room. One payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped Mark make his equity his exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000 or online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 18234, NMLS 1823334, and MLSconsumeraccess.org.
A lot of personal injury lawyers make claims about how good they are, but how do you know who's the best? At Berg Simpson Injury Lawyers, we've helped Coloradans for 50 years, and our results speak for themselves. We have 29 best lawyers in America, 19 super lawyers, and we're one of the National Trial Lawyers' top 25 most influential law firms. Compare us to other firms, then call Berg Simpson.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Non-stop rodeo action at Cheyenne Frontier Days. Every ride and every run counts. It's sudden death. Move on or ride off into the sunset. Cheyenne Frontier Days, the wildest ride in the West.
I've got to tell you about Champ Honda. If you're looking for an SUV that can handle Colorado, check out the new 2026 Honda CR-V. It's comfortable, capable, and perfect for everything from your daily drive to weekend getaways. Right now, Champ Honda has the largest inventory since before COVID, so you've got more options than ever. And I love this. Champ Honda does things differently. Their one price, one person, 1 hour philosophy means a fair price up front and way less time at the dealership. They never charge dealer handling fees.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
All right, fellas, Mark Schlereth here for some real talk. If you're over 50, there's a good chance you're dealing with an enlarged prostate. Getting up at night, weak stream, all of it. Here's good news. You can get a procedure called PAE, prostate artery embolization. That's a minimally invasive procedure that's done through a tiny pinhole and you're home the same day. Colorado Advanced Endovascular in Lakewood has top-tier interventional radiologists and a boutique setting with personalized care you won't find anywhere else. Visit coloradoae.com to schedule a consultation. That's coloradoae.com.
Dunrack kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call. 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
Want to partake in our contests? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD2, basketball playoff action continues as Cleveland faces Detroit in Game 2.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Denver.
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 count on the drive.
All right, let's come off the top rope with it. All righty. Okay. Stepping out of that conversation.
Which, by the way, you did a great job.
Appreciate that,
The
brother.
RamosLaw.com text line, just text after text. Zach, you finally made this make sense. And as I'm sitting here, man, you made it make sense for me as well, so good job.
Well, very much appreciated to you and anyone who had that sentiment. So I said going into the last break, were you rooting for Michael Porter Jr. in Brooklyn? Let me ask you that. Were you, Will, rooting for MPJ?
Nah. Guy disappeared too many times in the playoffs. Even when they beat the Heat, go look at his numbers in that series. It was not good against Miami. He was not good against Minnesota when he got knocked out 2 years ago, and I understand he was hurt, but he was not good against the Thunder last year. So, no, I was not rooting for Michael Porter Jr.
All right, well, MPJ's like you because he was asked about was he rooting. He was on the Road Trippin' podcast, and he was asked, was he rooting for his former teammates, and this is what MPJ said.
I actually spoke about that the other day, where you kind of almost feel somewhat like a hater. Like, I'm like, man, why? I'm watching the game. I'm like, why I'm cheering for the Wolves like that? Like,
it feels good. Get that hate in your heart. I do it every day.
I think it's that human nature. But I mean, obviously, I wanted one of my guys to do well. I didn't like that AG was hurt. I didn't like that P-Watt, that they couldn't do their thing. I was talking to Christian Braun during the series. And he had hurt his ankle the first game, and he played through it, similar to how I played through a tough shoulder injury last year. And, now he's getting, killed on social media, especially some of his comments he made. But, those are my guys. I wanted them to do well, but, I mean, I guess they might miss me. I don't know. Probably not, but it is what it is.
What'd you make of it, Will?
I get it. He got traded. It's hard for him to look at Nuggets on the front of the jersey and be like, yeah, I'm pulling for him.
Yeah.
But those are his friends. He won a title with those guys. Those are his friends. And then I love how he's like, Christian's getting killed on social media. It's, yeah, because Christian said something that made no sense. I'm the leader of the team.
He's the leader of the Nugs.
Don't say crazy stuff and you won't get killed on social media. But I do understand deep down why Michael Porter Jr. couldn't bring himself to root for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
It's still pretty raw. They just told him, you're not part of our plans moving forward. We've all been in jobs where that happens. Or a lot of us have been in jobs where that happens. And it hurts. Still hurts.
Yeah, and I luckily that hasn't happened to me, like getting fired but I could imagine like if I was traded like to a radio station that no one listened to, and like you're just gonna be in like Basketball Siberia, Brooklyn, like whatever the like radio version of that, like hey, you're gonna be on like overnights on AM radio. Be like, what? That would suck. So I get it. I try to understand the human element of it. There's rejection there. There's rejection. And MPJ, even for you pointing out his shortcomings, there was a lot of high moments too. Like the guy made the most threes in the history of the Denver Nuggets in any single season in his last year here. And then they moved on from him. So I get it. I understand it. I did not take offense to it at all. But fans being fans, I understand why some people did. Next in the 3 count.
1, 2.
All right, Gary Bettman, the commish of the NHL, claims his playoff format is, quote, working really well. Listen to Gary Bettman talking about the current NHL playoff format.
What we have has worked really well in terms of the series that develop, in terms of how the playoffs play out, in terms of the races to get into the playoffs with the wild card. Our regular season goes down to the wire for virtually all of our clubs. Maybe we had a handful of less teams that weren't in it for the last couple of weeks. And we get longer series as a general rule. We had 6 of our 8 first-round series win at least 6 games. That's extraordinary. You get more games. You get more compelling seasons.
What did you make of his summary of the current setup?
The key's at the very end. They get more games. Why do they like more games? The owners make more money.
Right.
Phillip stands for more playoff contests. That's what it's all about. Now, this year, it actually benefited the Avalanche.
It did.
It really hurt them last year.
It did.
And in other seasons.
It has.
But this year, you watch Minnesota and Dallas go 6. You get a minor upset. You no longer have to worry about the Stars. And now you're facing a Wild team that looks like they emptied the tank in round 1. I hate it. I'm not going to change my tune that I still hate it. But I can also acknowledge this year, it really benefited our Avalanche.
All right, and finally in the 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Rich Cimini reporting Russell Wilson weighing an offer from the Jets to be Geno Smith's backup in New York or pursue a post-football career in network television. CBS rumored to be the leader in the clubhouse. Quickly, what do you think Russ does here?
Why would I watch Russ on TV? He's boring.
He actually, in his little debut that he had last year, he actually had, like, it was a version of him that I don't recall seeing.
It wasn't Robot Russ?
It wasn't Robot Russ. It wasn't. Go back. You can YouTube it. Like, he actually was allowing himself to, like, behave like a normal person. Was he laying it on too thick because it was a bit of an audition? Maybe. But it wasn't Robot Russ. I'll say that. But also, like, dude, go out on your own terms. This is the final stop. Geno Smith's backup for the dysfunctional Jets? You were a Super Bowl champion. You were like a 10-time Pro Bowler. Like, do not go out like that. Go to TV and at least say you had an offer and you left it on the table and walked away.
Yeah, it'd be very Jets and very Russell Wilson for him to finish his career there. You're right. He needs to just walk. I can't even say quit while he's ahead because he's not ahead.
No.
But just don't get further behind.
Yeah. All right. What is the view of the Avs' early dominance of the postseason through the lens of someone who covers the entire league? We'll check in with our guy, Mike Johnson of the NHL Network, next.
Despite his best season yet, could we see a key nugget leave Denver through no fault of his own?
Jamal Murray has played his last game for the Denver Nuggets. It's going to come down to two things. Either Jamal Murray gets traded or you are doing a full-scale run it back. You're not getting anything for Christian Brown. Nothing. You're not getting anything for Aaron Gordon.
Agreed.
Nothing. And there's no other asset that you're gonna make a meaningful. The only thing that you have to do this offseason from like a true substance standpoint is move on from Jamal Murray. And they will. And they will.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3, The Fan.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
Are you one of those people who dread going to the dentist? If so, have you tried sedation dentistry? Learn more about sedation dentistry at coloradosedation.com. Sit back, relax, and dream with the most experienced sedation dentist and staff at Clarkson Dental.
Here's what most siding companies won't tell you. By the time it looks bad on the outside, the real damage is already underneath. In Colorado, that happens faster than most people expect. I trust Gravina's Window Center of Littleton because they start there with what actually holds up long term. 50 years plus serving Denver, Colorado on the Front Range. Right now, 20% off of James Hardy siding. Check them out, windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
I'm Rob Wilhite. If you've been in a car accident, you need experience that wins. For almost 50 years in Colorado, my firm has recovered over $1 billion for crash victims. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com. That's WilhiteWins.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a data analyst.
Hey, what model did you use for these quarterly projections?
Astrology. If Mercury's in retrograde, sales tank. If Venus is rising, we crush Q4.
You built our revenue forecast off horoscopes?
Yeah, the Zodiac never lies.
This is the time for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on brakes?
We mark Duralast brake pads down to free.
Free Duralast brake pads?
When you buy 2 rotors.
Can I get Duralast Gold pads for free?
With 2 Duralast Gold rotors, and there's a lifetime warranty on brake pads.
That's a huge markdown for so many miles.
Save on brakes and more during Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, what is the view of the Colorado Avalanche's early dominance of the postseason through the lens of someone who covers the entire league? We have Mike Johnson of the NHL Network, who you can watch on NHL Tonight throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. Mike, welcome back to the Mile High City, my man. It's myself, Zach By, and Will Peterson here with you. And look, we're all very bullish on the Avs heading into this postseason. I don't know if we saw this level of dominance awaiting us. What do your eyes tell you as someone who watches not just the Avs, but all these games?
So you guys are just going to keep having me back on until they lose? Is that what we're doing here? We're no weekly hit until they finally lose the game? I could be with you for a while. But you know what the crazy part is, guys? Is it feels like the Avs are just sort of finding their best game. They haven't lost in the playoffs, and through the LA series, I don't think they probably played their very best. The first game against Minnesota was offensively incredible, but defensively not what they usually do. Now, last game sort of felt like that's the Colorado team that everyone is scared of. That's the one that could beat you with their skill and their speed, but also their defense, their goaltending. The fact that Nate is able to not only get 3 points again, but also run over Matt Boldy late in the game and take down Quinn Hughes and play with that degree of physicality, that's the group that people think will win the Stanley Cup or could win the Stanley Cup. And it feels like they're rounding into form, even though they're 6-0 in the playoffs so far.
So, Mike, you mentioned Nathan MacKinnon, and obviously he was best player in the world type stuff, and we call him that all the time here in Denver, and we're biased, but that game, he's obviously the favorite for the Conn Smythe Trophy. Was that one of the best playoff games you've ever seen Nathan MacKinnon play? Jared Bednar hinted at that in his post-game press conference. Was that almost history in a sense that we watched a couple nights ago at Ball Arena?
He does it frequently. That's the thing. It's hard to pick a best game because he has several games that feel like that, where he is both dominant in the traditional sense, where he gets goals and assists and points and leads the team to a win, but also dominant physically. And that really is what sets Nate apart from the other great players in the league, like the McDavids or the Kucherovs or Celebrinis. And he has this ferocity to the way he plays physically that the other top players don't bring because they can't or they're not wired that way. But Nate, part of what makes him so much fun is that when he sees you, he turns into like a physical fourth-line player. He wants to run you over, and he can. Just ask Matt Boldy late in the game. So, yeah, that was the guy that is one of the greatest playoff performers that we can remember and is uniquely positioned up top the league amongst the great players in the league today. So, greatest ever? I don't know. He's got too many good ones for me to sift through them all right now, but it was another in a long line of dominant playoff performances where even for the best players in the game, ask Nikita Kucherov, ask Connor McDavid, it's not easy to pile up points and be that impactful in the playoffs. You're playing against good players who do things to try to negate what you do well. And there's times when Nate gets rolling like he is right now where it seems like it doesn't matter what the other team is trying to do. He can do what he wants because physically he's just so powerful.
You can watch NHL Network's Mike Johnson on NHL Tonight throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. He's with us here on the line. Mike, their fan base here in Denver is a little bit split. There's maybe half of the people, or maybe 60% of fans saying Minnesota has nothing for Colorado. This is going to be a short series. They're either going to sweep them or gentlemen sweep and steamroll their way to the Cup. Maybe 40% of the fan base is saying, well, hold on a second. All the Avs did was protect home ice. This is a really good Wild team with some awesome players, some Olympic heroes. How do you view the dynamics of this series moving forward? Is Minnesota going to make this competitive in your sort of forecast of things here over the next week?
Yeah, I mean, I would caution the bullishness. Yes, of course, Colorado's in a great spot. And yes, of course, I think Colorado's going to win the series. But to think that it's going to be an easy series, that Minnesota won't push back, that Minnesota doesn't have more to give at home would be foolish, because they are very deep. They took out a really good team in Dallas and did a good job of it. And you'd imagine that with the excellent players they have, they will sort out some of the chances that Colorado is creating off the rush. Not all of them, but some of them. The games won't feel quite like the first couple felt, where sometimes it looked like the Avs could do whatever they wanted when they got the puck rolled through the neutral zone. Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber, they're too good. They got lots of depth up front. They're going to be physical. They get last change. Now, if they get healthier, right, Jonas Brodin, their best defensive defenseman maybe, he's out. Joel Eriksson Ek, their best centerman, he's been hurt as well. If those guys are out, it gets a lot tougher for Minnesota, because everybody needs their full complement of players to try to compete with the Avs. But they're gonna make it hard, and Colorado better be ready, especially for Game 3, knowing that everyone knows that if Colorado wins that, the series is essentially over.
All right, Mike, let's talk about the goaltenders, because there's intrigue on both sides. First,
yes.
Did you feel like John Hines made a bit of a panicky move going from Volstead to Gustafsson in Game 2? And also, did you feel like any chatter about Mackenzie Blackwood after Game 1, that was sort of manufactured, and Scott Wedgwood is Jared Bednar's guy moving forward, and obviously Wedgie played great in Game number 2. But curious if your thoughts on both goaltender situations looking ahead to Game 3 and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hines made the decision that Volstead was his guy. So Game 1 was such a strange aberration of a game that neither goalie played that well, but to pull him right away. And I understand Gustafsson and Volstead, basically split the games for most of the year. You have a pretty capable second guy available to you, that you understand why you'd want to use it. But you run the risk now, what happening, where the guy you put in doesn't play great. Now, are you going to your third different starting goaltender in 3 games? That doesn't instill a lot of confidence in the goalies or in the group that plays in front of them. And that was the risk that John Hines went with, and it didn't pay off for him. Gustafsson's a good goalie. He didn't play great in Game 2. And so I imagine they go back to Volstead, and that makes it sort of a little muddy given that decision. As far as Wedgie goes, it was the opposite, where he didn't play great in Game 1, but Jared Bednar said, you know what, that's okay. That's a one-off. We believe in our guy. Yes, we have a very capable guy available in Mackenzie Blackwood, but we're not going to make that decision. Having one makes it a bit easier to do that, but it basically, he reinstilled the confidence that he has in the goaltender and said, you know what, we're going right back to him. Wedgie's going to be the guy, and we don't worry about it. And he responded the way you expect a good goalie to respond. So Colorado, because of how Wedgwood played and because they've won both games, are in such a better position sort of mentally as far as the goaltending position goes, because of the way that Bednar handled it as opposed to the way John Hines did.
You can watch NHL Network's Mike Johnson on NHL Tonight throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs, man. I know you joined us a couple weeks ago. Back with us again. We love chatting with you. Thank you for giving us a piece of your time, and enjoy the rest of the series, my man.
All right, fellas. What did I say last time? I will see you in person if Colorado makes the final.
Oh,
it
dude.
feels more and more likely that we will be heading out to Colorado for Game 1, because they look, as they should, like the best team in the league.
There's no doubt we will meet in person very, very soon. Appreciate you, Mike.
All right, fellas. Have a good day.
All right, that's Mike Johnson of the NHL Network. Really good stuff there. Bednar was asked what he liked about one key component of the Avs in this series, and he said, quote, everything. We'll tell you what that was coming up next.
Colorado Avalanche fans, take notice. Brock Nelson has earned elite recognition. Named one of just 3 finalists for the NHL Selke Trophy. Awarded to the league's top defensive forward. Night after night, Nelson delivers relentless two-way play, shutting down opponents while driving offense. And history is on the line. Wow. If he takes home the Selke, he'd become the first player in Avalanche history to win it. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams. And if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 16th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade Event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 16th. We'll see you there.
I've never put much stock in astrology, but with the new multiplier scratch, the stars are aligned for some pretty big prizes. Because no matter your moon sign or what Mercury's up to, your win can get multiplied up to 200 times, with prizes up to $1 million, which could steer your life into a very interesting new phase. New multiplier scratch from the Colorado Lottery. Multiply your win up to 200 times. Must be 18 to play.
Folks,
Mold creeping in? Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast, protect your property, and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. I heard from a couple in Aurora recently, Tom and Denise. They're empty nesters who thought they were finally hitting their stride, but then life happened. They needed car repairs, groceries kept climbing, and suddenly they were putting everyday expenses on credit cards just to stay afloat. Tom told me, I feel like we're working harder than ever and getting nowhere. That's when I told them about American Financing. They're helping people just like Tom and Denise every day. They look at your whole financial picture, not just credit card balances that keep growing. With a refinance, you may delay 2 mortgage payments, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. And when they heard the average customer is saving $800 a month, they finally felt like they could breathe again. One manageable payment, a chance to stop financing their past and start funding their future. American Financing, family-owned, licensed in all 50 states, with salary-based mortgage consultants. There's no upfront fees and there's no obligation. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's brought to you by Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD2, basketball playoff action continues as Cleveland faces Detroit in Game 2.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, halfway home here on a Thursday. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. Good stuff there from our guy from the NHL Network. Mike Johnson does a awesome job. Before we move on into the Bednar stuff, something that you want to piggyback on that our guy Mike said?
Yeah, I thought at the end he nailed it. Said that mentally Jared Bednar pushed all the right buttons by sticking with Scott Wedgwood and getting 2 victories, whereas John Hines may have fried his guys a little bit, not only his goaltenders, but the rest of his roster. I mean, he makes this panic decision to switch netminers in between game 1 and 2, goes from Wallstedt to Gustafsson, and Gustafsson gives up a goal in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Right.
And then Landeskog scores a handful of minutes later, and it's 2-1 Avs, and then Nick Waugh makes it 3-1. I don't think that right now the Minnesota Wild can envision a path they can win this series. They're going to say it publicly. Of course, they have to. They're still in the thick of it. They're only down 2-0.
But in their heart.
Private moments, I think John Hines, I think he butchered this series. I think he made a huge mistake, and that's not hindsight, because I was on with you and James on Tuesday night live from Ball Arena, and I said this feels panicky. It's exactly what it turned out to be. Now, maybe if he goes back to Volstead and he steals a couple games in Minnesota, we'll feel differently, but at this moment in time, did you like him switching goalies after one game? I thought that was odd.
Yeah, it was odd, but I understood it because of one reason, and it was the rookie status. And when a rookie is in that moment, and he's drowning, and what I said was there must have been a vibe from within the locker room that, along with Hines' decision, kind of nudged it forward.
Well, he gave up 5 goals from the exact same spot on the ice.
He did over that the blocker, right, from the right side, the right circle?
Yeah, that right face-off circle, 5
Yeah.
of the 8. Malinsky scored from there.
Yep.
Drury scored from there.
Yep.
Kale scored from there twice, and Nazem Kadri scored from there.
Yeah.
All 5 of those goals. And they beat him in a very similar spot. And there was some scouting done by the Avs. It was funny. There was a reporter down there kind of asking the players, and they're like, no, we just had good shots, because they didn't want to reveal too much. But obviously tip of the cap to the whole coaching staff, Jared Bednar, and the scouting staff, because they identified, if you put the puck here, this dude can't stop it, and the Avs took advantage of it 5 times.
Wow. All right, really good stuff there from our guy Mike Johnson. Real quick, before we get into some of the Bednar stuff, because he was asked what he liked about one key component of the Avs in this series, and he said, quote, everything. We'll get to that here and call it 15, 20 seconds. But first, ESPN Public Relations Department putting out a tweet here 3 minutes ago that Tuesday's Minnesota Wild Colorado Avalanche matchup delivered the second most viewed second-round Game 2 ever on cable. Now, I know there's a couple qualifiers in there, Will. So it's a second round and a Game 2. But that being said, the second most viewed second round Game 2 in the history of hockey on cable television, 2.1 million viewers. That is up 89% year over year.
Pretty cool, and 2 things working for you there. One, it was the only game in the NHL that night.
That's right.
And that's why it was a 6 o'clock puck drop. I know some fans were frustrated going, we either get 8:30 or we get 6. Can we just get our 7? Well, you got 6 because they wanted 8 o'clock on the East Coast, the only game in that window. And then 2.
And by the way, if I were a programmer, I would have done the same thing.
Exactly. 2, it's the most exciting team in hockey.
Right.
It's the Avs. And people want to watch the Avs, and we are so lucky that we got to live with them through an entire 82-game journey. But there's a lot of hockey fans that are just jumping on the bandwagon right now. And don't discount what a favor the Olympics did. People got really into the Olympic hockey.
No, I like that.
The Olympics gave this postseason a huge boost.
There's no doubt. And, I remember Boldy. Oh, I know. Yeah. Quinn Hughes.
He was on SNL with his brother.
Makar. Yeah. McKinnon, of course. Yeah. So there's a lot of that as well. No, I like that. I like that connection. Okay, so Jared Bednar, all right, asked what he likes about the power play in this series, and this is what he said.
Everything. I liked it at parts of the Kings, series as well. So, listen, it's much improved from the Olympic break on. I know people look at our percentage on the year, and when you go 5 months with it being poor, your percentage isn't going to climb that much. But it was 30% in March. We took a dip in April. It was pretty good against the Kings. We didn't score a bunch of goals. It's been dangerous, more than not in this series as well. And it's just showing that those top guys are like really dialed in. They're moving it quick. They're seeing their options. They're making plays. They're taking what the opposition gives us, and we're shooting the puck to score. And it's a little bit of everything, but it's mostly just like buy-in, commitment, pace from the guys that are on the ice.
Buy-in, commitment, pace. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary because this team was the President's Trophy winner.
Mm-hmm.
And for 2/3 of the season, the power play was not just bad. In a lot of ways, it was historically bad. They give up 13 shorthanded goals this year, I think it finished with. And look, that popped up in the postseason too. But in general, it's probably the biggest in-season improvement. I don't even think probably. I think it is the biggest in-season improvement to go from historically bad from a net power play standpoint, which does take into account those shorties, to now being, I think, the 4th in the postseason and who they were post-Olympic break. If there was a weakness, that's what it was, and now it appears to be a strength. And just from anecdotally, like forget the stats and stuff, I'm watching that power play. Snap from Kadri to Kale to Netches to McKinnon to Gabe. Bang, 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 bang. It's like, dude, it feels like they're coming from every angle. I just love to see it.
Yeah, it's like tic-tac-toe, but add an extra tic-tac. Tic-tac-toe, tic-tac for some of those goals that the Avs are scoring. And it's really interesting in there. He brings up our percentage couldn't go up that much because we were so bad and we dug ourselves such a hole. Zach, if you fail 3 tests in a row in a class and then you get an A on the 4th test, your grade in the class is still an F or a D, right? It doesn't go up. But here's the thing. The Avs are getting A's and they're getting A-pluses at the most critical time of the year.
Right.
And that's in the postseason. And it's looked particularly dominant in 2 games against the Wild. So don't worry about the body of work. You can't undo that, right? But you just need to pass the class at this point. And how do you pass the class? You get A's on a couple more tests. That's what Colorado has managed to do.
Yeah, Nate Dogg was asked about it after game 2.
Yeah, we're just trying to work both sides, try to give many different looks and LA different looks. Puck wasn't going in against LA, but we were told we were doing a good job creating. So I think for us, the process is just trying to stay good. It's been a long year on the power play, but I feel like what we're doing is sustainable. I feel like we're generating a lot of chances, and they're not just some lucky goals. So,
well, they are generating them. There's no doubt. And this you just heard from Nate. You remember Nate in like November, or maybe it was October, but I think it was November. It was like, because the fans were getting frustrated at home, and they were getting antsy and anxious. And Nate's like basically said the fans don't know what they're looking at. Even though they weren't scoring, because he thought the process was good. And we know about, this has been hamstringing the Avs for a couple years now. They fire Ray Bennett, who was a special teams coordinator for many years, and they hired Dave Haxtell, and then it was worse. It was worse for the first 2-3 months of this season. And McKinnon was frustrated, like I said, he calling out the fans. They don't know what they're looking at. But they did. It was bad. It was the worst in the league. It was historically bad by some measurement. But we are not living in that window of time anymore.
No, and he said we were told the process was good against the Kings. He's not talking about the media. He's not talking about the fans. He's talking about what he's hearing from the coaches.
Correct.
He's saying that we were told in meetings, in rooms, hey, this is working. Just keep at it. It looks good, and eventually you're going to find the back of the net. And they didn't need to find the back of the net against the Kings. It didn't matter all that much. You still 1-4. You still swept them. You've needed the goals in this series. Minnesota has 8 goals through 2 games, and you've still beaten them by 3 each time.
Pretty cool. All right, if you want to react to any of that, you can hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. The NFL is expected to release the schedule for 2026 next week, and we should prepare ourselves for just how different it'll be this time around for the Denver Broncos. We'll talk about why next.
Colorado Avalanche fans, take notice. Brock Nelson has earned elite recognition. Named one of just 3 finalists for the NHL Selke Trophy. Awarded to the league's top defensive forward. Night after night, Nelson delivers relentless two-way play, shutting down opponents while driving offense. And history is on the line. Wow. If he takes home the Selke, he'd become the first player in Avalanche history to win it. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. And, guys, I'm here to tell you with conviction, if you are looking for the ultimate place to post up for a big game, you have to make it the Basketball Social House Bar and Grill in Centennial. It's your headquarters for every upset, every buzzer beater, every goal. All the sports are on at the Basketball Social House Bar and Grill. Guys, the place is unreal. Award-winning food and drinks, a brunch that is elite, and it's not just another sports bar. This is the first of its kind sports bar and entertainment experience, literally the only one like it in the world. And listen, you don't have to be a hooper to love it. The vibe, the energy, the menu, it's all next level. But if you do want to play, you can book your own private basketball suite with a court, lounge seating, music, TVs, the whole deal. It's perfect for watch parties, team hangouts or celebrations, or just leveling up your night, guys. And they have the best happy hour in Colorado every day, 7 p.m. to close. You can find them at 7450 South University Boulevard in Centennial, and check them out online at thebasketballsocialhouse.com. And because you heard it from me, use code HALFOFFHOOPS for half off your first time private basketball suite rental. Trust me, guys, this place is a slam dunk.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsburg.com.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 16th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade Event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 16th. We'll see you there.
Hey, Broncos country, I'm Terrell Davis, and I'm here with Donnie, owner of the Fitness Gallery. There is nothing more important than your health. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer. Work out on your schedule from the privacy of your own home. I have a true treadmill at home. It's the smoothest and quietest I've ever been on.
If you're ready to make fitness fit your schedule, don't wait. Secure pre-tariff pricing today.
You never regret buying quality. Visit Colorado's largest fitness store, Fitness Gallery, and get started on your goals today.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. Nobody likes talking about this, but if you're a guy over 50 dealing with enlarged prostate, you need to know about PAE, prostate artery embolization. It's minimally invasive, done through a tiny pinhole, and you're back home the same day. Colorado Advanced Endovascular in Lakewood makes it easy. Top-tier interventional radiologist, a comfortable boutique atmosphere, and the kind of personalized care that's hard to come by. They serve the whole metro area. Go to coloradoae.com. That's coloradoae.com.
Dan Jacobs with the tale of two cousins. They were both in the same accident. One cousin said she didn't need a lawyer. And when the insurance company offered her $3,000 and said they would pay all of her medical bills, that cousin was very upset because she cashed that check. And when the medical bills kept coming in, the insurance company was long gone. The other cousin called 303-LAW-4040. She was offered $30,000. And when we said no way, the judge used scare tactics trying to get her to accept the lowball offer. That's where a lot of lawyers will try and get their clients to cave in, but not us. We said that's fine. We'll tell her story to a jury. Before we could even get up and walk out of the room, that case settled for $1.1 million. That cousin was very happy. The insurance companies work for their shareholders. At 303-LAW-4040, we work for you. You don't have to feel guilty about asking for what's fair. We hope you never need us, but accidents do happen, so go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303-LAW-4040.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends at windownation.com. I know that May's weather is pretty nice, but you don't have to wait until the heat hits in May and beyond to try and avoid high energy bills. You need to upgrade your home's windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows. You get new energy efficient ones from windownation.com and you get half of them for free. Plus, you could even get them with no money down. Schedule your fast free consultation now at windownation.com.
You're hearing this right now. So are your customers. That's radio. It still works. But your customers don't live in one place anymore. Tonight, they're streaming Denver's biggest game on their TV. Tomorrow, they're deep in the most popular podcast in the country. Next week, all three, all over again. We built one campaign that reaches them everywhere. Radio, streaming TV, podcasts, all under one roof, all measured, all working together. That's not a pitch, that's a system. DenverSports.com. Let's build yours.
One Wheel Broncos talk. Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, rolling right along here. So the National Football League is expected to release the schedule for the Denver Broncos 2026 slate at some point next week. We're not exactly sure what day yet. I'm sure we will know at the start of next week, if not by tomorrow, which I think is a little bit strange. But we know it's coming out at some point next week. You heard it was maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Is that right?
Those are the two dates that are being reported. Yep. The 13th or 14th. We'll get a full Broncos roadmap. Hopefully. Sounds like that's the plan.
All right. So we know who the Broncos are going to play, and we know where they're going to play them. We just don't know in which order. All right. And we'll get the schedule, and we know we'll go through that traditional fruitless exercise that we do at Sports Talk Radio. You go through the schedule and you assign wins and losses. It means absolutely nothing, but we still do it every single year because it's fun.
Unless you basically nail it, which, some of us had them 13-4 on schedule release night last year. Missed by one game.
Oh, like that is just classic Will Peterson.
Well, there was three people at the station that had the Broncos at 13-4. Myself, Cecil Lammy, and Kevin Kistner.
So you didn't even get it right.
And we all missed by a game.
You're taking a victory lap about getting close.
Well, I think you had them at what, 10-7?
I did have them at 10-7.
Yeah, I was a little closer than you.
And
there's a victory lap.
And for those who don't know Will the way that I do, on Will's grave one day, it's going to say, "Told you so." It's going to say, "Told you so," just engraved.
I'm just saying it's not, what'd you call it, fruitless? What was the word you used?
A fruitless exercise, yes. And you said unless you come close?
I had them at 13-4, and I got laughed off the radio. I was one game off.
Anyway, so we know who the opponents are. So kind of like a base coat for what we'll do next week. Let's just sort of go over these opponents. Okay. At home, let's start with games in Denver first. We know they're going to play the Chiefs. We know they're going to play the Raiders. And we know they're going to play the Chargers. In addition to those three teams, see, and this is the prize that the NFL gives you. You have a good year like the Broncos did. You're a first-place team in your division. You're going to get a first-place schedule. All right? It doesn't work like this in the same way as other sports, or in other sports, rather. But this is what you get in the National Football League to sort of like balance out the power. So here's who's coming to Denver in addition to the divisional opponents. The Miami Dolphins, not very good, right?
Could be first pick in the draft type bad team.
Could be. How about the Buffalo Bills?
Very good. Super Bowl contender.
How about the Jacksonville Jags?
Fringe Super Bowl contender who came into your building and won last season.
It beat the brakes off you. I think they doubled their score. I think it was like 28-14, something like that.
That was like 34-23 maybe? 34-21?
Okay. You might be right about that. Regardless, won by a couple few possessions.
It was a beatdown.
How about the Rams?
Super Bowl contender, no doubt about it.
How about the Seahawks?
Defending champs.
All those teams are coming to Denver. The Bills, the Jags, the Rams, the Seahawks. I mean, you talk about like hard hat and a pale lunch. Like, these are going to be absolute battles here for the Denver Broncos.
And I know we all love Sunday at 2:25 kickoff, right? That's sort of how we're wired. DNA, big game, 2:25. I want Jim Nance and Tony Romo on the call. Maybe you don't love Tony, but you know what I'm saying. You get the number one crew. I'd be prepared for some night games as well if I was a Broncos season ticket holder or even just going to go to a game or two this year. A lot of these have Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football written all over them. The networks would be clamoring for Seahawks at Broncos, Bills at Broncos, Rams at Broncos, and to a lesser extent, Jacksonville at Denver as well.
God, these are awesome games. Awesome games. Save for the divisional opponents coming to Denver, all right? They come every year. Well, even to stick with that for a second, who's the toughest divisional opponent in Denver this year?
Kansas City.
Still?
Yeah. I'm not buying the Chargers. Every time around this year, people buy the Chargers. People pick them to go to the Super Bowl, and then they fall on their face. Kansas City will bounce back. I'm not predicting them to hoist a Lombardi. They still have Andy Reid. They still have Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce giving it another year. KC's going to win 10, 11 games. I think you'll be in a battle with them to win the AFC West throughout.
I hope I'm not making a mistake and burying Kansas City, but I just want to see it.
I do too.
I just want to see it because even 2 years ago, they went like 14-3, right? Or was it 15-2 actually? I think they went 15-2.
And they pulled a rabbit out of their hat game after game after game.
They set the NFL record for the number of one-score wins, which now the Broncos hold. But, man, when the bottom fell out, it fell out. And I just, I want to see it. I'm not putting them in the grave, but I want to see it. I would say the Chargers coming into Denver right now with the information that I have are going to be the toughest task in division. But we can agree to disagree on that. Let's take out the Dolphins, who are also coming to Denver but aren't in contention for this conversation. Between the Bills, the Jags, the Rams, and the Seahawks, what's the toughest game?
They're all tough. There's no doubt about it. The Rams, Matthew Stafford's a year older. Puka Nakua's had a really bad offseason. Drafted a QB in the first round. The Seahawks, they lost Kenneth Walker III. I think they're going to take a little bit of a step back. And Jacksonville's up and coming, still up and coming. They don't pass the confetti test for me quite yet. It's your Buffalo Bills, Zach.
You think so?
That's
still?
the toughest non-divisional game on this schedule at home this season.
I can't co-sign it.
Why? They still have Josh Allen. They finally fired the guy that everyone in Buffalo wanted fired for 3 years.
Nah, they stink.
Come on.
I'll say
that's a scarred Bills fan right there.
I'll say the Super Bowl champions. Like, where was the weakness in Seattle?
Well, their running back who tore up the playoffs is gone.
Have they replenished the position?
Not adequately.
I don't know.
I mean, that Super Bowl MVP is a pretty good thing to put on your resume, and you're telling me, nothing to see here. The Seahawks are still fine.
I mean, they drafted a running back in the first round. Jadarian Price is going to be toting the rock for them, along with Charbonnet. I think that's a fantastic operation. I believe in that administration. You talk about like no noise. Like no noise for a Super Bowl champion. Nothing. Like you could hear a pin drop. I trust that organization right now in the place that it's at. I can't think of a weakness for that team. The last time I saw them play, they had a parade. So I'm going to say the toughest game in Denver is going to be Seattle, followed by
your Bills.
I want to say the Rams, but I'll go with the Jags just because I saw how they ragdolled the Broncos last year. So for whatever reason, matchup-wise, maybe it's just the wrong Sunday, but I can't unsee that game. Now, when the Broncos go on the road, it's tough at home. When they go on the road, well, we'll discuss it next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Landscape your yard with 100% natural Permagreen shredded red cedar or Permagreen gorilla hair. These products aren't dyed or treated, so you can safely use them anywhere in your yard. Buy these and other Permagreen products wherever better things are sold.
So what makes Champ Honda different? It's simple. One price, one person, 1 hour, meaning clear, upfront, and fair pricing. There are no games, no guesswork, and you work with a single client advisor from start to finish. No runaround, there's no back and forth, and 1 hour so you can spend less time at the dealership and more time doing what you love. Plus, at Champ Honda, they never charge dealer handling fees. None. It's a better way to buy a car, and once you experience it, you'll wonder why every dealership doesn't do it this way.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com.
While medicine's greatest advancements look like the latest sci-fi, one of our most powerful tools is far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose by treating people, not just patients. With innovations that amplify healing and lead to more personalized care, guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal. At Common Spirit Health, clinical excellence lives here. Human kindness lives here. Learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Brandon Stokely here from my friends at Roller Auction. Do you have items you're looking to sell? Since 1976, Roller Auction has been conducting commercial and industrial auctions for Colorado government agencies, Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, secured creditors, individuals, and more. They have a large marketplace to showcase your assets, so don't wait. Visit rollerauction.com for a free consultation and turn those items into some cold, hard cash. Again, go visit them at rollerauction.com. That's rollerauction.com.
The playoffs bring out the teams that perform when the pressure is highest and every possession matters. When you're bidding an electrical project, you don't want a streaky shooter. You want a team with a 40-year winning record. That's Piper Electric. From commercial construction to EV charging, fire alarms, power distribution, and preventative maintenance, their electricians are safety-driven, highly skilled, and ready for complex environments. So when your project goes out for bids, take the high percentage shot. Visit piperelectric.com.
Tune in Tuesday afternoons for Injury Insights with Zach Bai and Dr. Joseph Ramos to hear the latest injury news on your local teams and around the world of sports. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
Denver Sports Snapshot.
Tonight on 104.3 HD2, basketball playoff action continues as Cleveland faces Detroit in Game 2.
Presented by Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach Bai and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, as we continue to discuss the Denver Broncos 2026 opponents, as we are about a week out from the schedule release, we know who the Broncos are playing. We know where they're going to play. We just don't know the exact order in which they're going to play them this time next week at the latest. And we don't know for sure what day. But this time next week at the latest, we will have the Denver Broncos schedule. So we were just talking about the opponents that will come to the Mile High City in 2026. In addition to the Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, it's the Buffalo Bills, it's the Jacksonville Jags, it's the LA Rams, it's the Seattle Seahawks, along with the Miami Dolphins. 4 of those. Actually, Dante, can you do me a favor? Can you pull up the Super Bowl odds? I'm curious where the Chiefs and Chargers are by Super Bowl odds, where the Bills, Jags, Rams, and Seahawks are by Super Bowl odds. Because I'd be willing to bet the Bills, Rams, Seahawks, and probably the Jacksonville Jags are all inside the top 10 most likely to win the Super Bowl.
Well, it's crazy. You have 8 home games next year. 9 road games, 8 home games. 6 of your 8 on paper are against contenders. Only the Raiders and Dolphins are not contenders.
I mean, this is your prize. You go 14-3, your reward is a first-place schedule. When you have that, D, just jump in my ear, we can talk about it. As we look towards where the Broncos are going on the road, and yes, as Will just pointed out, a difference from last year, yes, the first-place schedule, that's a big-time difference, but also it's more road games than home games. With the 17-game slate, it's going to rotate like that every other year. And what you hope is that a year where you have the less road games, or less home games, one of those home games isn't actually going on the road overseas to play one of these international games. So the 9 road games that the Broncos have, it's the Chiefs, it's the Raiders, and it's the Chargers. Then it's the Arizona Cardinals, okay? It's the Carolina Panthers, who are improved. And actually, at one point, did they beat the Rams last year? Didn't they?
Yeah. And then we got the rematch in the playoffs.
That's right. It's the New England Patriots, a rematch of the AFC Championship game in Foxborough for the Denver Broncos this year. Wouldn't be surprised if that is national TV as well. It's the New York Jets, who shouldn't be a big issue for the Broncos from where they're at. We don't know if Russell Wilson will be the backup, or maybe Geno gets hurt. Maybe Russ is starting if he chooses to go down that road. But it's also a game in Pittsburgh for the Denver Broncos, playing the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. And then finally, their last road opponent is at Levi Stadium against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, where you wanted to be last year for Super Bowl 60, and unfortunately you weren't because Bo Nix broke his ankle. But you look through this road schedule, and I know we'll focus on the teams we don't see every year. We know they'll go to Arrowhead, Allegiant, and SoFi like they always do. But the game that jumps out to me is, of course, the Patriots, because it's going to be a rematch of the AFC title game, and we know they've had a tumultuous offseason between getting their butts kicked in the Super Bowl and then everything that's going on with the head coach. The Niners, it's always a point of debate. Is the window still open for San Francisco? Is it not? I think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are very smart. Wouldn't surprise me if they are contenders. But maybe the sleeper one here is the Panthers, man.
Maybe.
I think a lot of Broncos fans are going to look at that and go, oh, that's a dub. Carolina, we're good. Yes, they'll probably be favorites, but it'll probably be 1.5, 2 points. That will not be a line that they are overwhelming favorites on. And I think in the NFC South, Carolina is a team that is ascending and one to watch for sure. Obviously, Tampa Bay is always going to be in the conversation as long as Baker Mayfield is the QB, but there's not many. What I'm getting at here, out of these 17, there's not many that I can sit here and today go, sure dub, Zach, sure dub. There's about 5. There's about 5 that I can tell you, yeah, the Broncos are going to win that football game.
Dolphins?
Dolphins, absolutely.
Okay.
Raiders here, absolutely.
Man, it was a slog to beat the Raiders twice last year.
Yeah, it was a Thursday night.
But it was.
Poor scheduling by the NFL.
Well, hold on. It was a Thursday night for everyone. So, I mean, it was tough to beat the Raiders last year. But yes, I agree. A win against the Raiders. 2 wins against the Raiders?
Yes.
Okay.
I like Fernando Mendoza, and they, of course, have Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty, but come on. That's a 5-6 win football team. If you're a Super Bowl contender, you got to beat them twice.
Dolphins should be an auto dub.
Yeah, they're marching for Arch.
The Cardinals should be, but
auto dub.
I would not be surprised if they're plucky.
They're going to win 3 games, Zach, and that stadium's going to be half orange.
They're not going to win 3 games. They're going to win more than 3 games. It's the NFL.
They'll go 4-13. Excuse me, I misspoke.
You have a veteran quarterback, maybe the best tight end in football, some good wide receivers, a top 5, running back. I think they're going to be plucky.
Wait, a top 5 running back in the league?
No, in the draft.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. A very good college player who, Ashton Genty was a very good college player and then didn't do much his rookie year.
That's true. That's very true. But yeah, beyond that, I'll throw the Jets in there too. Auto dub.
It should be. I just get flashbacks to London last year. It should have been an auto dub, and then you had to have a great defensive stand at the end to push them out of field goal range and not lose 14-13 and win 13-11. But
God,
it was in London. It was in London.
Yeah. There's not a lot of gimmies.
There's not a lot of gimmies. Even Pittsburgh. That's a tough place to play. I've been to that stadium for NFL games before. That place is electric. It's going to be a tough atmosphere.
And they were a playoff team a year ago. They just find ways to be in one-possession games down the stretch, and we'll see what that operation looks like, new leadership, everything over there. So, Dante, you have the Super Bowl odds pulled up. Are the Chiefs a top 10 Super Bowl contender by the odds?
They are. They're the 6th, most likely.
Okay. So the Chiefs are the Chargers.
The Chargers are as well. They are tied for 8th.
Wow. How about the Bills?
The Bills are tied for 3rd.
How about the Jags?
Jags are not. Jags are a little bit out of it. They're 17th.
Oh, wow. The Rams?
Rams are 1st.
Rams are 1st. Seattle 2nd?
Seattle's tied for 3rd.
Wow. Okay, so those are the home opponents. How about the Patriots? Are they top 10?
They are. They are tied for 8th.
Wow. How about the Steelers? Are they in there?
They are not. I didn't write them down, though. They are behind the Jaguars a little bit, so 19th.
Okay, that actually makes sense. And how about the Niners?
The Niners are 10th.
Wow. So the Broncos have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games on the schedule.
9 games.
And really make it 9 because you play the Chiefs twice and the Chargers twice. So 9 of the 17 games are against teams who are top 10 in Super Bowl odds.
And do the Broncos have top 10 Super Bowl odds, Dante?
Have to. Hold on. Let me guess where they are. 6. You already said someone was 9th, right?
I have not said who's 9th.
Oh, okay. I'll say they're 9th.
I'll say they're 12th.
Will's closer, 13th.
Wow. So closer to the middle of the pack. Interesting. But that is a real slate, folks. That is a real slate for these Denver Broncos. All right. We'll have the schedule right around this time next week, and looking forward to going through that exercise where we assign the wins and losses. Okay. Is it too early to start looking at the most dominant runs to a Stanley Cup of all time? Probably, but we'll do it anyway. And also, tomorrow should be a fascinating day because we're going to hear from the Denver Nuggets brass as well as the coach in an end-of-the-year season press conference. We'll talk about what we could be in store for. We'll get to all of that as we're on the doorstep of 40 consecutive minutes of commercial-free sports talk coming up next.
The Colorado Avalanche put on a clinic, controlling every inch of the ice from start to finish. Speed, precision, relentless pressure define their game as they powered past the Wild with authority. 5 goals, terrific goaltending, and a defense that refused to bend. That was dominance in every sense. The Avalanche skate away with a decisive 5-2 victory, and just like that, they seize a commanding 2-0 series lead. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Every day, cyclists across Colorado are seriously injured by careless drivers. I'm Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has been fighting to make those drivers, their insurance companies, held fully accountable. We know these cases, we know how to win them, and we won't stop until we get you the maximum compensation you deserve. If you've been injured in a bicycle accident, call the Wilhite Law Firm today. 303-GOOD-LAW or visit wilhitewins.com.
Hey, it's Mike Evans, and if you missed the filing deadline again, or maybe you haven't filed in a while, the consequences can be substantial, and the penalties, huge. After 5 months, you'll owe late filing penalties of 25%, not to mention interest. The recent IRS tactics include prosecuting more non-filers, sometimes even criminally. Don't gamble with the IRS, it's just not worth it. You can avoid the stress and worry of not filing your taxes simply by calling the people I trust, and that's Advanced Tax Solutions. I've personally talked with clients who've been helped by Todd Whalen. They can get your taxes filed and provide a number of solutions to get you off the IRS's radar. You will feel relief and peace of mind as soon as you talk with the experts. So call the professionals I trust at Advanced Tax Solutions. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in? Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast to protect your property and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Hey, Broncos country, I'm Terrell Davis, and I'm here with Donnie, owner of the Fitness Gallery. There is nothing more important than your health. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer. Work out on your schedule from the privacy of your own home. I have a true treadmill at home. It's the smoothest and quietest I've ever been on.
You're ready to make fitness fit your schedule. Don't wait. Secure pre-tariff pricing today.
You never regret buying quality. Visit Colorado's largest fitness store, Fitness Gallery, and get started on your goals today.
All right, fellas, Mark Schlereth here for some real talk. If you're over 50, there's a good chance you're dealing with an enlarged prostate. Getting up at night, weak stream, all of it. Here's good news. You can get a procedure called PAE, prostate artery embolization. That's a minimally invasive procedure that's done through a tiny pinhole and you're home the same day. Colorado Advanced Endovascular in Lakewood has top-tier interventional radiologists and a boutique setting with personalized care you won't find anywhere else. Visit coloradoae.com to schedule a consultation. That's coloradoae.com.
I've never put much stock in astrology, but with the new multiplier scratch, the stars are aligned for some pretty big prizes. Because no matter your moon sign or what Mercury's up to, your win can get multiplied up to 200 times with prizes up to $1 million, which could steer your life into a very interesting new phase. New multiplier scratch from the Colorado Lottery. Multiply your win up to 200 times. Must be 18 to play.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
We're rolling downhill here on a Thursday, barreling into the weekend, and we still have a lot of ground to cover here. So I said going into the previous break, is it too early to start looking at the most dominant runs to a Stanley Cup of all time? Probably, but we're going to do it anyway. And Alex was just in here, our guy, Alex Patolo, I call him AB2. He said everyone's been talking about this on the station throughout the day. Have you heard any of that?
Yeah, I've heard some of it for sure. That it's one of those things where we all don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we also can't ignore what our eyes are seeing and what our brains are telling us. They just scored 14 goals in 2 games against arguably the second best team, not only left in the West,
right,
left in the entire dance. Who's going to stop them?
Man,
who's going to stop him?
It feel like, again, I'm falling into my own trap because I'm someone who's like, let's just take it easy here.
Chill.
Like, let's chill. Like, do we really have to fast forward to the greatest teams in NHL history and see if the Avs can match them or surpass them? But here we are. I mean, we're here, okay?
And 3-day breaks will do this to you, right?
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
They played Tuesday. They don't play again until Saturday. It's Thursday. I mean, if you were following the every other day schedule, we'd be doing a full-blown Game 3 preview.
No doubt.
Well, surely they play tomorrow night then, right? Nope. Don't play tomorrow night either. Got to wait all the way till Saturday to get Game 3.
Yeah, although on tomorrow's show, I would imagine that big chunks of it will be Game 3 preview. I'm fired up, man. We're arranging our weekend schedule around puck drop. That's just how it is. Before we get into this and look at some of these historical comps, you wrote about this at DenverSports.com. Cale Makar, another just sort of benchmark feather in his cap to what is shaping up to be one of the greatest careers for a defenseman of all time. What did we hear today with Cale?
Yeah, he joined Bobby Orr as the only player in NHL history to be nominated for the Norris Trophy in 6 of their first 7 seasons. Think about that. He's been a top 3 defenseman 6 of his 7 years nominated for the Norris, which of course is given to the best defenseman in the NHL. He's a 2-time winner. If he wins it this year, it'd be his 3rd win. He'd only be the 10th player ever to win 3 Norris trophies. Now, it's probably going to go to Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He is an overwhelming favorite to take the Norris. But that said, you have a headline that's not a stretch. It's not a reach. And that headline includes both Cale Makar and Bobby Orr.
Pretty cool.
Come on.
Come on. And I've sat here behind this microphone over the last 2 weeks saying, wait, how is fill in the blank not a finalist? Right? Like
McKinnon for the Lindsay, Jared Bednar for the Jack Adams.
The Vezina to a lesser
Scott
degree.
Wedgwood with the Vezina.
Yeah, but especially with Nate for the Ted Lindsay Award, which is the MVP of the league voted on by the players. Like that right there, Nathan McKinnon, what he's doing right now, he is giving a massive middle finger to his peers right now. 3 consecutive games with 3 points each. Like you're telling me there's 3 better players on planet Earth than Nathan McKinnon? Stop it. And sometimes the players themselves are the worst source of like credibility because you have jealousies, relationships, fractured relationships. Now, the media doesn't always get it right either, but like it's just one of these things where oftentimes like the players, especially on the NFL side, some of the stuff that comes out on the NFL side, it's like, okay, guys, like what are we doing here?
When they vote on those top 100 lists,
they can be silly. Most overrated, like things like that. It's just like, okay.
When you look at the 3 players real quick that are up for the Lindsay, it's McDavid. Okay. It's Kucherov. Okay. It's 19-year-old Macklin Celebrini.
Dumb.
What are we doing?
Just dumb.
He's a great player.
He's a great player, and he kept them afloat and kept them in the hunt for the post. I got all that. Nathan McKinnon just had the most points in 5-on-5 since Jaromir Jagr when Bill Clinton was in office. Like, that's the last season we had that was as productive. I think it's 95 points, 5-on-5. Like, you got, and look, you want to produce on the power play too, but, like, I just hold 5-on-5 hockey in higher esteem than man-up hockey. That's just me. And the fact that you have to go back 30 years to find a comp that was someone as good at 5-on-5 hockey, and it's Jaromir Jagr, a god of the game, like, come on, and he's not a finalist? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway, different rant for a different day, or I suppose it is today. But good for Cale being a finalist for the Norris and being side-by-side with Bobby Orr in that rarefied air. All right. So it's probably too early to be looking at this, but apparently the rest of the station was doing it, so I feel like we're in good company here. When you look at the most dominant cup runs of all time, let's just start with the single most dominant in this modern era. And when I say this modern era, I'm talking about needing 16 wins to win the cup. You can go back and look at, the 20s where the Boston Bruins went 5-0 on their way to a Stanley Cup. But that's not the era that we live in. So the Edmonton Oilers, all right, this is peak Gretzky, late 80s, 87-88 season. The Edmonton Oilers went 16-2 on their way to a championship. That is dominance personified. The Canadiens in the mid-70s went 12-1 on their way to a Stanley Cup. The Canadiens in the early 90s, 1993, went 16-4. All right, they actually lost their first 2 games of the postseason and then went 16-2 the rest of the way. Believe it or not, the 93 Canadiens won, and I can't believe this is real, 10 consecutive overtime games in a single postseason. That may be a record that is never broken.
You could flip a coin 10 times the rest of the night, and you wouldn't get heads every single time or tails every single time. And that's basically what they managed to do, because we know OT in the playoffs, yeah, it's pretty much a coin flip.
Yeah. But I say 16-4, quoting the 93 Canadiens, that's what the Avs did in 2022. 16-4 on their way to a championship. The LA Kings also did that in 2012, went 16-4 on their way to a cup. What makes them different is they were the 8th seed. You remember this. This is Jonathan Quick, right?
Hot goalie.
Standing on his head for 2 straight months. They went 10-1 on the road that year. So the Kings are in that Avalanche company from 2022, as are the 97 Detroit Red Wings, went 16-4. The 95 New Jersey Devils went also 16-4. And that's really the list of the modern era. You know, and honestly, like, doing this research, it makes me feel even better about what the Avs were able to accomplish in 2022, being side by side as some of those all-time great teams. That's what the Avs were in 2022. But it like tickles the thought of, like, is this team better? You know, is the collection of their opponents, the Wild, their Western Conference opponent, a Stanley Cup opponent, like, will they lose 4 games? And obviously this is the point of doing the segment, because our eyes are telling us a story that is almost demanding us having a conversation like this.
Definitely. You could tell me right now they go 16-2, 16-3. I would believe you. You could tell me right now they go 16-1. I would believe you. That's how dominant they've looked through 6 games. And how many scares have they really had? Yes, I understand being down 1-0 to LA in the third period. Got dicey, and then Gabe tied it, and they won it in OT.
That was like the closest it got, I think.
They were down 5-4 to the Wild late in the second period of Game 1, but immediately made it 5-5, and then that third period just exploded with the 2 Kale goals and the Nazem Kadri goal. Look, here's what I'll say. I do think they have historical potential, right? Just outlined it. I also think, in the same breath, they could come back to Denver tied 2-2. That's not my prediction. I think they'll definitely, shouldn't say definitely, almost certainly split up in Minnesota or even bring their brooms. They could sweep.
They could.
They could win this series in 4. But I don't want it to become Tuesday of next week, and we're like, why do we have this conversation when it's 2-2? And it's all of a sudden a best of 3. They got to probably win 1 more for me to say with a straight face, oh, they're going 16-2 or they're going 16-1. But that said, there's no evidence through 6 hockey games, Zach,
right,
that this is some sort of inappropriate or out of bounds or Disneyland type conversation.
No.
This is all just based on what we've witnessed.
Will, they've played 6 postseason games and trailed for what? Less than 4 minutes? I mean, this is where we're at. It's utter dominance. They're kind of, you know, I hope I'm not tempting fate here, but so far, the Avalanche have made a mockery of the NHL's postseason. And look, and I know you know this to be true, on paper, and I know the games are played on ice, but on paper, the Western Conference Final, much like 2022, will be, on paper, an easier task than the second round. And you remember the second round, it was St. Louis in 22.
And it went 6, and you needed heroics in Game 6 to avoid a Game 7.
Correct.
Darren Helm.
So that was a battle to get out of that series. And then what happens in the Western Conference Finals?
Sweep.
Even with McDavid and Draisaitl, it was a sweep. And so it's going to be a similar arc, I believe. It's going to be a similar arc. So if that's the case and you believe that to be true, at least speculating it on paper, then if this is a short series, you could be looking at a really short series in the Western Conference Finals, and then it's like you start entering that territory if things go the way that we think they're going to go.
You could definitely be 12-0 or 12-1 when the West playoffs are over, because you're going to face either Anaheim or Vegas if you get past Minnesota. Anaheim, you were 1 point away, Zach, from playing them in the first round.
Right.
And now that could be a trip to the Cup final. In Vegas, yeah, I know they made a coaching change and they've looked better since then. This ain't 3 years ago Vegas that was winning the Cup and playing for the Cup.
Nope.
This is a pretty above average. I wouldn't call them pretty average, but pretty above average Vegas team. They're probably the 4th or 5th best team in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And the reality is, with the current playoff format, the 2 best teams in the West
That's right.
that are left
That's right.
are playing in round 2.
That's right. And so Gary Bettman loves it. We love it this year. It's cost this team in the past.
It worked out for the Avs really well this season.
It did. It did.
Think about that. You got Dallas out. Someone else took care of the Stars for you, and you made Minnesota grind to 6, get on a plane to Denver, and come get their butts kicked in the first 2 games here because they emptied so much of that tank, making sure they got past Dallas in round 1.
Yeah. On the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043, isn't Carolina also 6-0? They are. And in fact, this is the 5th time in the history of the NHL where 2 different teams were 6-0 to start the postseason. In all 4 of the previous instances, one of those 2 teams went on to win the Cup. So pretty good history. I think we're on a collision course with Rod Brendamore's Hurricanes. We'll see what happens when we get to that stage. I'm going to enjoy the ride until then, but I do ultimately believe the GPS is going to lead us right to that matchup.
Well, and don't sleep on the Sabres.
They're fantastic, too.
They got a win last night.
They did.
That building's on fire.
That town's on fire, Will.
And it doesn't shock me. It's just a city of sports heartbreak over and over again. You arguably lose a cup because Brett Hull's skate was in the crease.
Yeah.
Your football team loses 4 Super Bowls in a row. And then your current version of your football team gets their hearts ripped out every single year. The Broncos did it to the Bills last year.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine, Zach, if it's Avs Sabres?
It could be.
And we get a rematch, Denver and Buffalo, just like we did in an epic OT divisional round game, 4 months ago?
Yeah. Man, it's very much in play.
Are you going to Buffalo for an Avs Sabres Stanley Cup final game if that happens?
You can bet on it.
You have to.
And I'll be wearing Avs gear.
There you go.
1,000%. I haven't watched a Sabres game in 25 years.
You don't have a loyalty to the Sabres?
No, I grew up rooting for them. I really used to love them when I was like 10, 11, 12.
Oh, so you got your heart ripped out because that was what, 97, 98?
99.
99?
99, yeah, Dallas. Double overtime. Game 6, Brett Hull. And then they changed the rule that offseason. But, yeah, I used to love that team. Michael Pekka, Miroslav Shatan, Jake McKee.
We're naming some Sabres.
Rob Ray, Matthew Barnaby, Rasmussen. I mean, I used to know that. I used to know it was like the back of my hand. But that was a very long time ago. I haven't watched a Sabres game in 39, probably 25 years.
Wouldn't Avalanche Sabres be more exciting than Avalanche Hurricanes?
It would.
Just because of the history of Buffalo.
Sure.
You've got another Team USA superstar over there in Tage Thompson.
Yeah.
Who obviously we're seeing some of that elements of revenge with Quinn Hughes and Matt Boldy through 2 games. The Avalanche, of course, have Brock Nelson, but more Canadian connections with McKinnon, McCarr, and Taze.
Yep.
And just the fact that Buffalo is such a hungry town for a title.
And they're a hockey town, too.
Absolutely. But I'd love to be the latest team that rips their hearts out. Oh, you guys got really close again, but we're going to have the parade. Maybe your Bills will do it for you in 7 months.
Yeah, maybe so. All right.
But it's hard to talk trash on Buffalo.
They've never won anything.
Right.
So, like, what do you like? They're not the Patriots or something.
You're picking on the smallest kid in school.
Yeah.
Like, go fight someone your own size.
And if they reimagined the sports landscape, Buffalo wouldn't have a team. You know, they're a thriving city from yesteryear. You know, a Rust Belt city, if you will. So I will, like, if the Avs weren't in this, I'd be pulling for the Sabres, but no, it's a single track mind. And it's the Avs year. It's destiny. It does feel like destiny. All right, this is KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. And KARS Laramie. We are coming with it, and we are coming for it. It's Zach By hanging out with Will Peterson, who's filling in for Phillip Lindsay, and we are The Drive, powered by Regen RX. Dante just left me hanging there. Literally didn't say a word to me.
You left yourself hanging there.
Like it's not brand new. Like it's not our first week doing this. Like I got all this stuff on my mind. We got to hit the Regen. We're doing KKFN. It's brand new. And Dante's behind the glass just watching me drown going, yeah? What else? What else? Shout out to our friends in Fort Collins hanging out with us here on The Fan. So tomorrow, Will, it should be a rather fascinating day. I hope so anyway, in terms of what is said at a very rare end-of-the-season press conference for the Denver Nuggets. So we hear from the Denver Broncos probably about 3 times a year in terms of the brass. Greg Penner, George Payton. That's not the case with the Denver Nuggets. They just don't operate that way. And we heard from them this time last year, but there have been stretches of time in my 10 Nuggets seasons here in Denver where we went years without hearing from Josh Kroenke, quite literally. But we are going to hear from Josh Kroenke tomorrow. We are going to hear from Ben Tenzer and John Wallace, who kind of split the general manager duties in a very unorthodox way. That's Josh Kroenke's word, not mine, from a year ago. And we're also going to hear from David Adelman. I'm curious what is going to be the tone and tenor of a press conference that you're supposed to be in the second round of the postseason. You didn't even make it to Game 7 of the first round. I'm just very curious on what the approach from the administration will be tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Josh Kroenke's going to get some hard questions, and I think they're deserved. Starting first and foremost, why are you keeping David Adelman? What did he do to prove he deserves a second year with the full-time head coaching label? The Nuggets won 54 regular season games. That's great. I don't care about the regular season anymore. We're so spoiled that in the Nikola Jokic era, everything is defined by April, May, and hopefully June. They didn't even reach May this year. Their season ended in April. Yeah, you can say, well, Adelman won 54 games. He deserves a second year because this roster was all beat up, and he led us to 54 and a top 3 seed in the West. Nuggets went 2-4 in the 6 games that mattered. The 6 games that mattered. Their goal was 16 Ws. Ray Bork, famous, 0-1 Avs, mission 16 Ws.
Sure.
Nuggets got 2 Ws. 2! They went 2-4 in their 6 most important games of the year, and they're running it back. And by the way, they're giving David Adelman a microphone at 11:30 tomorrow. You don't give microphones to head coaches you may fire. David Adelman is 100% locked in to being the head coach of this team. So I think Josh Kroenke needs to get asked, why did David Adelman do enough? How did he do enough? And Josh, even if he gives me a great regular season answer, Josh, can we focus on the playoffs? When Chris Finch coached circles around your guy, when Chris Finch worked the referees brilliantly after game 1, when his guys got hurt, he found the dudes off the bench to come in and not just beat you, but punk you.
It was a masterclass.
And David Adelman, meanwhile, is panicking. He's snippy with the media. He looks like a guy who is worried about his job status. He's on edge. What did his team play like? They were on edge. You take your tone from your head coach. And I thought the Nuggets looked like a team that didn't have a lot of poise against Minnesota, and I didn't think David Adelman had a lot of poise in that series. So if Josh, and I won't be there, but our guy Jake Shapiro will be there, and Elo Piro will be there, I'm sure the Mark Kislas of the world will be there. He needs to get some tough questions, and again, if he wants to focus on the regular season, I really hope there's follow-ups of, can we put the regular season aside and talk about the postseason and why that was good enough to not fire David Adelman?
Well, my guess is you're going to get a bit of a word salad, okay? And I could do it. I mean, I could do the response right now.
Let's hear it.
What's your question?
Josh, David obviously had a great regular season, winning 54 games, but the playoffs were tremendously disappointing. The goal was a championship, and you guys only won twice. 1/8 of your goal, 16 wins. Why does David deserve year 2 here in Denver?
Well, I think it's interesting. Thank you for the question. I think it's interesting that people just look at 54 wins these days and think that that's not accomplishing something. We've come a long way because I was sitting here when we were trying to be the 8th seed. And I don't think you realize how hard it is to be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference and win those 54 games and go on the road and set the franchise record for wins away from Ball Arena. And yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, we did fall short. But what was also unfortunate is that for the first time in his entire career, Nikola Jokic got hurt and missed the most time ever and was just, struggled. We saw that to find his touch. And defensively, Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson are such a big part of what we do. You can't minimize those things. And unfortunately, we just weren't the best version of ourselves. And I'm reacting to careers. You're reacting to one season. So we're going to be patient. We want to see more of this. We want to see this through. And that's what we're going to get here moving forward. There'll be at least some version of that.
And you did a good job there. I understand you were doing your best Josh Kroenke impression of what the answer will look like. And I think you probably nailed it. But even at the end, you use the word patience. You know, we got to be patient. I don't think Nuggets fans are feeling real patient.
No, and they shouldn't be. I mean, the way that this flamed out was, by definition, embarrassing. And look, I think that this thing needs a bit of an overhaul. These are not quarter turn changes away from the first round from an NBA title. And I do believe those are coming. I'd be very disappointed if the team ran it back. But I almost think that's going to be a bit of an impossibility, if you will. And I think the reasons behind it are kind of boring, Will. They're kind of boring, just to be 100% honest. Because if you actually talk this through, and we did the crosstalk with Cecil and Dover, and Josh has flipped that Jamal Murray can't go anywhere. He's got to be here. He did everything we asked him to do, and you got to move forward with Jamal, which I disagree with. Okay, I disagree with. He did everything you asked in the regular season. He came up as small as we've ever seen him with the season on the line. But I also don't want to fall over myself congratulating Jamal Murray for being a pro and doing his job and fulfilling his potential for the first time ever. So, but that aside.
Well, he did do it in the 2023 playoffs. I mean, he was awesome.
He was great. For sure. You won a championship.
But you said for the first time ever. I think he had done it before.
He put it together for the first time in the postseason in 2023. He put it together for the first time in the regular season this year. We haven't seen.
Didn't he have a couple All-Star snubs though?
No, never won. I will not debate this. Never one time was Jamal Murray an All-Star snub.
All right, then I'll drop it if it's not up for debate.
But here's what I'll say. Because we had the promo running, and I said they're going to trade Jamal Murray. They will. This is not about, when I say that, it's not anti-Jamal Murray. Like Jamal Murray stinks at basketball. No, it's quite opposite. He's on the Mount Rushmore of Denver Nuggets. His jersey's going to hang from the rafters of Ball Arena. And I get told on the RamosLaw.com text line, absolutely not Jamal. No, he's going to hang forevermore. He was the second best player on a championship run. And he was brilliant. But if you peel back the layers of this conversation and you just have like a sobering look at where this is at, and I'm going to do a little bit of talking here, Will. I want you to jump in any time that you want to.
Well, educate me, Professor Bai, because this stuff's complicated. And I think the average fan hears aprons and taxes, and they go, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think you're going to break it down in a way that people can listen and learn, and I think that's important because we do want to learn why they may have to trade Jamal Murray.
Yes, and part of this, guys, it's curriculum. Don't blame me. Blame the NBA. These are the rules that, by the way, this ownership group voted for. So keep that in mind as we go through this. So I think that you could look at the trade deadline. I often say this when I'm talking with Phil or you or anybody else filling in here. Oftentimes the past is the best predictor of the future. It's not a guarantee, but oftentimes that is the case. And if you look to the trade deadline, I think that could provide insight on how the Nuggets will operate this offseason. So think back to the trade deadline. You're in a championship window. If there's ever a time, like you thought they were going to go win the championship or had a great chance?
I picked the Thunder in 7 in the Western Conference Finals, so obviously they came up way short of where I thought the season would end.
So you're a championship contending team, right? At the trade deadline, AG and Payton Watson were already hurt. So there's an opportunity to add depth. Other teams did. But what did the Nuggets do? They shipped away Hunter Tyson and a second-round pick to free up a roster spot for Spencer Jones. So what they do with Spencer Jones? They had an opportunity to sign Spencer Jones to a multi-year contract, which would have been beneficial to the organization. He's a big body that plays defense and knocks down threes. It's like those are the kind of guys you're looking for. You got lucky that Calvin Booth really identified him. But they didn't do that. They made him a full-time roster spot, but instead of doing the multi-year deal, they just did it for the season. Well, why would they do that? They did it to duck the tax. Okay? They did it to duck the tax. And as a result, Spencer Jones is now a restricted free agent. Okay? So the Nuggets have paid the tax before. They paid it in 22-23, 23-24, 24-25. So that's great, and the Kroenkes deserve credit for that, and I mean that. But what really is going to matter here more than anything else is the NBA's repeater tax. Okay? This isn't sexy. This isn't built for sports talk radio, but I want you guys to understand the mechanics of what will lead Denver to their ultimate decision that we'll get to here in just a second. So, as it currently stands, there are 10 players under Nuggets deals heading into next season. Okay? Even with those 10 players, not a full roster, they're facing a pretty real repeater tax penalty. All right? So right now, they're around $13 million over the luxury tax line. Right now, if they move forward with just those 10 guys, which is illegal, you have to have a full roster, even if they move forward with just those 10 guys who are under contract, they would be asked to make over $41 million in luxury tax payments.
That's a good chunk of change.
It is a good chunk of change, but we're not even getting started here. Because if you like Payton Watson and you believe the Nuggets should sign him, he's going to make around $20 million a year. They also, because the NBA doesn't let you trade first-round draft picks, year after year, you can only trade every other. The Nuggets will have a first-round pick this year. Now, full disclosure, they can trade it draft night after the draft, like Donovan Mitchell type scenario. But let's just say they pay Watson, they draft the 26th overall pick, and they sign 3 minimum contracts. They would then be $40 million, roughly, over the luxury tax line and into the second apron. Well, what would happen then? What would happen then is the Nuggets would have a salary, a roster worth around $240 million. You know what the luxury tax penalty would be? Running it back with Jamal, Jokic, Cam Johnson, paying P-Watt. They would be on the hook for $207 million in luxury tax penalties.
An insane number. I say all the time, well, they're billionaires. They can't spend it this lifetime, the next lifetime, the lifetime after. Why do they care? I think that's inbounds when we're talking about paying a head coach, perhaps. Paying a Tom Thibodeau or a Steve Kerr if he leaves Golden State, or a Billy Donovan or whoever, $8 to $10 million a year. But $207 million?
$207 million. If they ran it back with these guys, paid P-Watt, and added just 3 minimum players, $207 million in a tax
Even
check.
I bristle at that. And I can understand why the Kroenkes, with their billions and billions of dollars, go $207 million? Okay, now we are getting into money that even billionaires, it's a huge chunk for them. And I have been hard on the Kroenkes in the past. I'm not going to be hard on them if they don't want to pay a $207 million luxury tax bill.
And here's the thing. One, let me just start by saying, guys, there is 0.00000% chance that they're going to pay this bill. But you could talk yourself into it the way that the Warriors did, because Joe Luck, he paid that bill out there in San Francisco. He paid it. But they were a dynasty, right? If you're the Kroenkes, you're looking at this projected repeater tax, luxury tax bill, and it's over $200 million if you move forward with this roster as currently constructed and P-Watt with 3 minimum salaries. You could maybe tie half of your brain behind your back and say, you want to know what? We just lost in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. We just lost in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. We're going to go ahead and move forward because it's going to be worth it. We're going to make more money because we believe we're going to win a championship. You're not going to do that with a team that couldn't even make it to Game 7 of the first round.
Against a very injured Wolves team playing dudes that wouldn't have even been in the game. if Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo were healthy.
Yeah. And someone, and I'll get back to the text here in just a second. Let me finish my thought. So you have this scenario where it is going to be a financial non-starter for this ownership group, $207 million in penalties, and just a tax. So if the Nuggets are going to free up legitimate cap space to reduce this luxury tax bill, they have 3 options to try to clear a pathway. One is to trade Aaron Gordon. The other is to trade Cam Johnson. But lastly, it's to trade Jamal Murray. And the problem is you don't want to just make a trade to shed salary because you're going to be a worse team. The idea of a trade is you want something meaningful coming back to you in said trade to improve the roster. There's only one guy amongst those 3 that will do that in a meaningful way. You're not getting anything for Aaron Gordon. You're not getting anything for Cam Johnson. It's going to be pennies on the dollar. And in a different world, if the Nuggets had more assets, they could slap another first-round pick to these guys and ask someone else to take them. And someone probably would. But in a vacuum, no one's taken Aaron Gordon and 36 games played after another injured season a year ago and a new contract that hasn't even started yet. Cam Johnson's season was viewed as a disappointment. You're not getting back what you think you're getting for Cam Johnson. You're not getting back much at all. The one guy, based on the great year that he did have, and he deserves credit for it. It's not an insult. It's not anti-Jamal Murray. It's not trade Jamal Murray because he's bad at basketball. It's the opposite. It's the opposite, okay? He's the one guy who has recouped his value from recent years, is an all-star. I believe he's going to get all-NBA status, maybe even second team. He's the one guy, you guys, on this roster that would fetch you something back in return. So when you talk through the conversation and you know the rules of the league and what the penalties that they'd be facing if you ran it back plus paying PWAT, it's a non-starter. So they have to do something. Again, when you peel it all back, I arrive at the same conclusion that I did earlier in the week. I think this organization is going to trade Jamal Murray, and it's going to be out of necessity, not a luxury.
And you're not saying this because you dislike Jamal or you dislike him as a basketball player, you think he's washed, nothing left in the, you're saying this because it just makes sense.
Yes, it's almost the literal opposite.
It just makes sense. And you've laid this now out really well twice to me today. And first of all, you've done a really good job of explaining it, because when I hear $207 million, I bristle. It's an insane amount of money to pay in taxes. And 2, if you trade Jamal, you can get guys back that fans will have heard of. You can get household names back for Jamal Murray. The Celtics, they just lost in round 1. They're talking about, we need some major changes. Do you call about Jaylen Brown? Derek White, a Colorado kid who's a champion, been a great player in the NBA for years and years now.
Yep.
Those are the kind of pieces I'm talking about. Now, do I think you could trade Jamal straight up for Jaylen Brown and Derek White? No. But if you attach an Aaron Gordon and a Cam Johnson, maybe we're starting to talk a little bit here. Again, just a hypothetical.
Yep.
But all that said, whoever you bring in, they won't be a champion in Denver. You've mentioned the kids who have the jerseys hanging up, or Jamal's their favorite player. Like, they won't have that going for them. They won't be on the fire truck. And I remember the scenes where Jamal was getting jerseys thrown on him almost like laundry because so many people wanted a shot at a signature that they were willing to throw a $180 jersey in his direction, hoping that that'd be the one he'd grab and they'd throw it back to him. He'd throw it back to him with a signature on there. So that would be a bummer. You know, as a Nuggets fan, that would just break my heart a little bit.
He's my son's favorite player. He's playing baseball now. He's wearing the number. He got to pick his number. He's wearing 27 for Jamal. And I said, bud, are you sure? Like, you sure you don't want to find a baseball player's number? You're not playing basketball. Nope. Wants 27. Wants to be Jamal Murray's number playing baseball.
Yeah.
And he'll probably cry when this happens, if it does happen. Someone point to me another lever to pull that creates meaningful change in the way that fans are hoping for. And it's not, and thank you for resetting it. It's not anti-Jamal Murray. It's not Jamal can't play. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. It's been 11 years. You're no longer in the afterglow of a championship. All right. He did unfortunately come up the smallest I've ever seen in a game with those kind of stakes. And for a second consecutive year, Game 7 against Oklahoma City, we had 5 points in the first half. And this year, going, 4 for 17 or whatever it was for 12 points. That is not even the point. This thing has ran its course. It has, guys. As currently constructed, this team is not going to win another NBA championship. And if your goal is championships, and not everyone is, some people just want Jamal to be here, and that's great. You want, because they'll sell out the arena, they'll sell jerseys, they'll win a bunch of games, and they'll lose in the first or second round. So if your goal is championships, someone point to me a more meaningful lever to pull other than trading Jamal Murray, because I can't find it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the heartbreak your son will go through. You'll probably have to break that news to him maybe one day after school. Hey, man, got some bad news. Your favorite player got traded today. Those conversations will be happening all over town, and I just talked about my vivid memories of him on the fire truck. But just to go glass half full, they will be household names you get back for Jamal Murray, and everyone gets a Jokic boost. You get a bump when you come to Denver and play with Nikola Jokic. You just do. Because he's the greatest player at seeing the floor, creating open shots, easy looks at the basket. That's what's going to happen. So even if they trade Jamal, and on paper it looks like, Nuggets lost the trade, I would remind everyone, but give those guys 4 or 5 more points per game, an extra assist a game, maybe a rebound or 2 more per game. That's just the inflation we see with Nikola Jokic, and Dante pointed out earlier, I'll give him the credit. Look at Aaron Gordon in Orlando versus Aaron Gordon in Denver.
Yeah.
That's what you're hoping to acquire, is sort of the next Aaron Gordon, that in this Jokic 2.0 era, we can get a second title.
Yeah, AG was viewed as a bust in Orlando. He was a 4th overall pick.
And they wanted him to be the guy, and he was never the guy, but he was a perfect fit for what the Nuggets were looking for.
And that's the next job of this administration. Who fits perfectly here? And there's one more thing that I would point to that makes it all the more obvious that this has to happen in this current NBA landscape, and I'll pass that along to you coming up next.
For the 6th straight year, Cale Makar is a Norris Trophy finalist. And this one puts him in rare company. Makar is now just the 2nd defenseman in NHL history to be a finalist in 6 of his first 7 seasons. The other, Bobby Orr. Elite company, generational talent, the standard from the blue line. Can he bring the award for the 3rd time in his career? Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
What's going on, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here. And guys, I know there's at least 50 of you listening to me right now thinking about popping that question this year to your special somebody. And if you're ready for all that, then you know you need a diamond. But let me add more to this. Mother's Day is around the corner. And whether it's your wife, your mom, or a mom who deserves something unforgettable, this is the moment to make her feel truly special. Let me save you some time and money by telling you something as simple as this. Whether you're starting your next chapter with your perfect diamond engagement ring or looking for a great Mother's Day gift, this is where it's going to begin for you. Imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their surface is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They're going to have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine, and the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secret to the business with you, but guys, they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue, and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to let them know that Phillip Lindsay sent you.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
Hey, Broncos country, I'm Terrell Davis, and I'm here with Donnie, owner of the Fitness Gallery. There is nothing more important than your health. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer. Work out on your schedule from the privacy of your own home. I have a true treadmill at home. It's the smoothest and quietest I've ever been on.
If you're ready to make fitness fit your schedule, don't wait. Secure pre-tariff pricing today.
You never regret buying quality. Visit Colorado's largest fitness store, Fitness Gallery, and get started on your goals today.
Cecil Lammy here from my friends at SodaDietNutrition.com. Now, 5 years ago, I lost 60 pounds because of soda, and I'm never going back. I've never gained the weight back. I never will, because SodaDietNutrition.com, they taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. It's simply magnificent. I want you to call them up, 866-800-SODA, where you can join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Soda weight loss is now SodaDietNutrition.com, and you've got to have these guys on your side, because the weight loss journey, it can be tough. There can be struggles. Having a real nutritionist there available via text to help you out with any sort of questions, concerns, sometimes it's just straight up encouragement. It's SodaDietNutrition.com, and there's no mystery pills, mystery injections, any mystery chemicals you're putting in your body. You're doing it the right way. Learn how. Join the program. SodaDietNutrition.com, 866-800-SODA, because SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots?
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Siltar Motors celebrating 66 years with some of the best deals in their history. May 15th and 16th, $66 oil changes on any Ford, Lincoln, Mazda, or Volvo. Used cars from $6,600, leases from $366 a month. And on Saturday, May 16th, there'll be a car show, free food and prizes for the whole family. Your cherry on top, Ford and Lincoln employee pricing all month. You pay what they pay. May 15th and 16th, Highway 36 in Wadsworth, STHmotors.com. Siltar Motors celebrating 66 years to gain everything you want out of a dealership.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, and just to continue the conversation that we were just having, and during the break, we got into a separate argument that we can pick back up here in just a second if you want.
It was about basketball.
It was. Let me just finish my thought here. And we were talking about the big picture, the big picture need of the Nuggets offseason. If you're looking for a meaningful change, it has to be Jamal Murray, okay? There's no other place that it's going to come from in the way that Nuggets fans want it. All right, this isn't fantasy basketball. So, but in addition to everything that we just talked about for 20 minutes, right now, in this current landscape of the NBA, defense is winning. Defense. It's not the three-point shooters. It's not the three-point teams. Those teams are falling by the wayside. Ask the Denver Nuggets, who are the number one most efficient three-point shooting team all year and failed to get to 100 points in 3 of the 6 games. But they're not alone, okay? It's teams like the Celtics and others. And in today's landscape, where we're watching these big physical defensive teams win, I do not believe you can have a championship contender and your 2 best players are that bad at defense. Jokic is already a negative defensively. He just is. We all know it. You can't have your second best player the mark on defense. And one of the things that hasn't been talked about enough here, certainly at the station, is that in the game against Minnesota, when they had all their backups in, Jamal Murray became a hunted piece of meat. It did not matter who he was trying to guard. Whoever had the basketball took that guy that Jamal was guarding, put him into action, and they were running it down Jamal's throat, possession after possession. Like in a way that you would think that they would do to someone like Julian Strawther. That's what they were doing to Jamal. And I just don't think, in addition to everything that I know to be true that we just covered in the most previous segment, you can't have your best 2 players be that much of a negative defensively.
Well, and there's a lot of lasting images from that series. None of them pleasant. But 2 of the lasting images are what Terrence Shannon Jr. did to Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
And I'm talking particularly in the fourth quarter when you had to have a stop. Literally, your season's on the line. You have to have a stop to have a chance to continue to win this basketball game and force a decisive Game 7 at Ball Arena. Terrence Shannon Jr., a dude who was the 11th or 12th player on the Minnesota bench before all the injuries, goes left and just burns Jamal right to the bucket. Layup, ball game, series over, season over. Everything over. That may be, think about this, that may be one of the last possessions Jamal Murray ever plays in a Denver Nuggets uniform.
Yeah.
Terrence Shannon just eating his lunch to end the series.
Yeah. And it was Jalen Clark also coming off the bench. No one even knows Jalen Clark unless you're like a massive Wolves fan or a UCLA fan. 2nd-round draft pick, young guy, 24 years old, came off the bench and had Jamal Murray in hell. So it's like Nickeil Alexander's gone, Ant-Man didn't play, and it's 2 guys who don't even play for the Wolves had him in handcuffs. And that's on the offensive side of the floor. That's supposed to be his strength. And it has been. He had a great year and a great career, all-time Nugget career, no doubt. But just facing the natural factors at play here, it's not sustainable. It hasn't been sustainable in years, unfortunately. So that's kind of where we're at. Do you want to pick back up on the conversation we were just having, or do you want to put our swords down? And
no, I'll have it with you. You're coming up with your top 10 players of all time, and I said, Nikola Jokic, and you bristled.
I did bristle.
He's a top 10 player of all time.
I do not believe that he is. Okay, that's not a slight because I believe he's a top 15 player of all time. So we're sort of in the weeds, semantics.
But he should have won 6 MVPs in a row.
Okay, hold on. But
he's a 3-time winner that's been robbed at least twice, maybe a 3rd time this year.
I would not even really argue against that. Here's who I would have as the top, just to rattle off a couple, leading up to maybe 7 or 8. Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, and then if you want to start going down the Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry route, I think it's more than fair. What do all those players have in common?
Multiple rings.
Not only multiple, and I'll try to do this off the top of my head, but Jordan's got 6. Kareem has 5, I believe. Magic has 5. Larry has 3. Bill Russell has 11. It kind of keeps going like that. Duncan has 5. Kobe has 5. Shaq has 4. There's no one in the top 10 that has 2. The history of the NBA says the greatest players win multiple championships. You cannot have, in the game of basketball, where only 5 guys play at one time, and be considered a top 10 guy with one title. Now, there's context, Will. There's context. Maybe if he had teammates like Duncan did or Kobe did, like, he'd have more. But unfortunately, I personally cannot have Jokic in the top 10 all time with one championship. It's such an outlier. I just personally can't do it.
But again, you sort of just made my point for me. Look at the help all those guys had.
Sure.
They're great players. No one's disputing that.
Who are you taking off of that list that I just named you?
I think you only got to 8. So.
No, I did 10. Here, I'll do the 10 again. Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Larry, Magic, Bill Russell, Shaq, Duncan, Kobe, Steph Curry.
Shaq?
Yeah, and his 4 championships.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic is a better player than Shaq. Shaq was a big old dude who took up a bunch of space, grabbed a lot of rebounds, and had a lot of dunks.
Talk about reducing it down to its simplest form. That was Shaquille O'Neal for you?
How many assists did Shaquille O'Neal have in his career? You're talking about the greatest passing big man of all time in Nikola Jokic.
No disagreement from me.
Absolute fact. But
no disagreement.
Shaq could just go eat in the paint, and therefore he's ahead of Nikola.
Dude, Shaq was a unstoppable, dominant force. You're just going to minimize him because he's got a big body?
I'm not minimizing him, but why does Shaq get so defensive about Jokic? Because he knows Nikola has passed him.
No, I think he knows Nikola's on his block. I don't think Nikola has passed 4-time NBA champion, MVP, Shaquille O'Neal. And by the way, don't forget the court's cut in half. Don't ever put Shaq and Jokic in the same sentence defensively. Court is cut in half.
Robert Horry has 4 championships too. Like at some point, you
Stop.
can't tell me that
you're too smart for that.
You can't tell me the championships are the end all be all. When until this year, Nikola Jokic had never played with an all-star. Shaq got to play with a guy named Kobe Bryant. That worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, and who was Finals MVP every time? Shaq has as many Finals MVPs as Jokic has regular season MVPs. He's not ahead of Shaq by merit on resume. He's just not. I love Jokic. We all love Jokic. You can't be top 10 all time with one championship. You can't.
But it's not Nikola's fault. He only has one championship. That's what you're failing to grasp.
I understand. I do.
Okay, well, if the Nuggets had done a better job putting more help around Nikola Jokic, he'd have 3 or 4 titles by this point in his career. Would he be top 10 all time for you then?
But they haven't. I'm dealing with reality. You're dealing with hypotheticals.
That's not Nikola's fault, so I'm not going to ding him for it in my top 10 rankings of all time.
What if Hakeem Olajuwon had better teams around him for a 10-year stretch? He would have won 6 championships. Maybe we're having a GOAT conversation, but it didn't happen. What if Grant Hill stayed healthy? What if Penny Hardaway stayed healthy?
It just cracks me up that you wanted during the break you wanted to put Steph Curry ahead of Nikola.
Shaq was bringing the Orlando Magic to the finals on his rookie contract. Like, come on.
In the East.
That was when the East was the power. Anyway, what did we learn in Denver sports besides me owning Will in that conversation? We'll get to it next.
Despite his best season yet, could we see a key nugget leave Denver through no fault of his own?
Jamal Murray has played his last game for the Denver Nuggets. It's going to come down to 2 things. Either Jamal Murray gets traded or you are doing a full-scale run-it-back. You're not getting anything for Christian Brown. Nothing. You're not getting anything for Aaron Gordon.
Agreed.
Nothing. And there's no other asset that you're gonna make a meaningful. The only thing that you have to do this offseason from like a true substance standpoint is move on from Jamal Murray. And they will. And they will.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Tax
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When disaster hits your home, it's game time. Water in the basement, fire damage, mold creeping in? Don't sit on the sidelines. Call Able. Able Restoration is your first-round draft pick for emergency response, mitigation, and full rebuild. We move fast to protect your property and fight for you with insurance start to finish. This isn't practice, this is your home. And when it's time to step up and protect what matters most, bring Able to the table. Call 303-590-5600. Go Able.
Bring Able to the table.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. I was talking to a listener last week, single mom, 2 kids, working full-time, and she told me she felt like she was drowning. Prices are up, bills stacked, paycheck gone before it even hits her account. But she's a homeowner, and that changed everything because American Financing stepped in. They're helping people just like her and just like you every day. No judgment, just real solutions. They looked at her whole financial picture, not just her credit card debt. With a refinance, she learned she may delay 2 mortgage payments and she may close in as fast as 10 days. And when she heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, she finally felt hope. 1 manageable payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop financing her past and start funding her future. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped her make her equity her exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, so final segment here on a Thursday. What did we learn today in Denver sports? Well, a few things. Before we continue, all right, I will caution and warn all of our listeners because there's something coming here on our airwaves that may completely misrepresent your boy ZB. Now, I don't know what's coming, but if there's someone here besides Mike Evans who will misrepresent and twist someone's word and paint a picture that is far from reality, it's a skill, it's a real talent, okay? It's Dan Jacobs. Dan Jacobs behind the scenes. Now, he's a lawyer, right? So this is kind of, they're slick, right? And so I have a feeling, I don't know what he's going to do tonight on Denver Sports Tonight.
Yeah, he's in the building.
He's in the building, and I love Dan, but I feel like Dan is about to take my words and twist them around in some way, shape, or form. He may do the same to you, Will.
Yeah, you're going to be driving home going, Dan?
That's not what I said.
Dan? And then you're going to go, should I call in? Nah.
But maybe Dante will have my back here for once. But Will, he might be coming at you more because I think Dan is actually on my side of the conversation when it comes to Jokic as a top 10 player. So we'll see how that all unfolds. It can't miss. It should be pay-per-view here, Denver Sports Tonight. But you get it for free, all right?
I never thought I'd be the bad guy for saying Nikola Jokic is a top 10 player of all time. All the texters, Zach's got Will painted into a corner. Come on, man.
Oh, man, we're having fun.
We are.
We're talking sports. So one of the craziest things I've ever seen happen today in Denver sports, and I mean this legitimately, and if you didn't see it, I don't blame you because not a lot of people are watching the Rockies. But we were watching the Rockies play the New York Mets, and it was the bottom of the 8th inning with the score tied 2-2. The bases are juiced. And up the plate, who is it?
Your boy, Jake McCarthy.
Jake McCarthy's up at the plate.
Your boy on your 6-6 Rockies.
And Jake McCarthy sends this thing for a ride to right field, but it was way right. All right? No joke, guys. You have to see this. This ball goes so far right of the flagpole.
Foul pole.
Foul pole. When it happened, like in real time, no replay. Will, you and I are sitting here watching this in a commercial break, and I have the Rockies money line. And I go, that's foul. That's foul. But they let McCarthy round the bases, and everyone comes home, and they change the score. And this puppy gets challenged, rightfully so. Will, you are my witness here. They showed the replay. It was so conclusive. Dante, did you see this as well? Okay. Help me out. Back me up.
Oh, they showed this replay a half dozen times.
It was so obvious.
The ball was 8 to 10 feet foul.
It was 8 to 10 feet foul. It wasn't like a 50-50, I can't see it. It was, you're looking at the pole, you see a white ball pass over it, right, from the home plate's perspective. So it's not going behind it. It's going in front of it. This puppy goes 10 feet right of the hole, of the hole. He's talking golf. Of the foul pole.
Well, that's like most of your putts.
Yeah.
10 feet right.
There you go. Walked into that one. Guys, they ruled it a grand slam.
Insane.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Well, and we're getting pictures now from where the fan caught the baseball.
Yeah, our senior Rockies writer, Andrew Mason, was in right field and took the picture where it was caught. It would have to be, I forget the movie where they bend the bullets or maybe bend it like Beckham. You would have had to bend the baseball like Beckham to have it end up where it was caught in far right field. Again, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah, we're on radio, but I'm looking at Mace's photo, and this guy is standing. Now, I'm looking at home plate from the stands. He's standing 10 feet foul of the pole.
Crazy.
So you're telling me that this ball was just straight, and then took a right turn and ended up in this fan's hands?
Like the magic bullet, John F. Kennedy.
This dude didn't think he was catching a home run ball when he went to Coors Field today. He thought he was catching a long foul ball.
Dante, you saw it. What'd you think?
I don't know. I don't really have your back very often, so
no, you
comment.
You don't. Well,
what does that mean?
So I don't like. I won my bet, but I'm like, no, that's not right.
The Rockies won the game 6-2.
Crazy.
And it should have been 2-2 with McCarthy at the plate with the bases loaded. I got to think the Mets are going nuts about this. They got robbed today.
This is what leads people to believe, like, yeah, sports are rigged. Like, it was so shady. Shady, Dante? Shady?
Yeah, it was foul.
It was foul. I mean,
especially after review. In real time, I get it. You can make a mistake, but if you review it, I don't get how you still make that mistake.
It was nuts. I'm sure they'll feature it somewhere on SportsCenter. If you don't see it, look for it for yourself. It was egregious. All right, we step aside. Thanks to Dante behind the glass, Will for filling in. We step aside. It's Denver Sports Tonight. Beware of Dan. Beware. It's coming up next.
Colorado Avalanche fans, take notice. Brock Nelson has earned elite recognition. Named one of just 3 finalists for the NHL Selke Trophy. Awarded to the league's top defensive forward. Night after night, Nelson delivers relentless two-way play, shutting down opponents while driving offense. And history is on the line. Wow. If he takes home the Selke, he'd become the first player in Avalanche history to win it. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing,